Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to One Brothas Mind. Katie Smooth coming back at you with another one, with our first installment of the One Brothas Mind Sports Show. We're going to chop it up about some sports, and today, blessing the mic is none other than Big Meech, a friend of the show here at One Brothas Mind. We're going to bring him in and let him say hello to everyone. Go ahead, Big Meech.
What up? Just appreciate you bringing me on here, bro.
No problem. We like to get different perspectives, so we can chop it up and have a little fun. So, all right. So today,
wait a minute. You said have fun.
Have a little fun.
We're gonna have some fun with a little bit of twisted controversy, right?
Oh, you gonna lose?
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna win either way. I mean, even if I had to put an L in that category, which I don't have many, I'm cool with that.
All right, so let's get right into it. This is, again, ladies and gentlemen, One Brothas Mind Sports. We going in, y'all. So what we gonna do, we got a list of topics that we gonna chop it up on. They're not in any particular order. I just threw them together, and we're gonna go in on them and see what it is. So let's go ahead and just jump right on in. I'm gonna start off the show today with your boy. I want to get your insight on your boy. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Big Meech is a Packers fan, and
go Pack, go without question. Without question.
There's a lot going on right now in Packer Nation, especially surrounding your boy Aaron Rodgers. So I felt it's best for me to get an expert, a Packer expert, to really shed some light, some views, and just see what he thinks. So whatever you got, drop it in.
Well, I'm gonna be a shocker here, man, because for me, I think it's Rodgers' time. You know what I'm saying? It comes a point in every ultra star's career where they've done everything they can in the existing system with the resources that they have or the lack thereof, and it really don't matter. I mean, I think at this point he's done what he could do. I think he's reached that peak of what he can accomplish in the market of Green Bay. Now, I will tell you that's not something that a lot of Packer fans agree with. And I'm gonna say I'm on the 1 to 2% side that you know what I'm saying, I'm by myself. Because just generally looking at what Aaron Rodgers has done, in the last just 5 years. Let's just talk about that. No championships, but guaranteed top 3 every season, and that's without any weapons. With a questionable defense on occasion, not the last 2 years, but on occasion, you know what I'm saying, we've not really had any weapons. Devontae Adams, yes, absolutely. But even that in itself, will Adams have the same success that he's had with Rodgers anywhere else? Without question, my answer is no.
Okay.
Unless he goes with another quarterback who's an assassin, who has that precision skill and the mindset not to take risk. I don't see that happening. What other quarterback in the league can do that? Like today. So when I say I think Aaron Rodgers needs to move on, and I'm gonna say either Las Vegas or Houston are the two destinations I think he needs to go.
That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he will have any more success than he's had at Green Bay if he stays. It's going to be continued controversy because of the caliber quarterback he is and the lack of success in the postseason that he's had. He's had tons of success during the regular season, but we can pull another name in there that's had the same situation, Peyton Manning.
Right.
He won't have any more success than he's had in Green Bay. He needs to go somewhere else that has offensive weapons and an offensive-minded head coach in order for him to win another Super Bowl. It will not be in Green Bay.
Wow. That was a couple of shockers there, especially your your two destinations you had. So I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming those destinations you're looking for some goodies in return. Are you looking for the quarterbacks in those destinations in return, or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I knew that was coming.
I'm gonna say this. David Carr he's a sleeping giant, man. He makes shit happen without big name stars. Mm-hmm. That's what Green Bay needs. Green Bay needs a quarterback that don't have all the media attention. You know what I'm saying? They need a quarterback that's gonna put his head down and play. Aaron Rodgers in the late part of his career don't do that, man. He's too involved in the media. He's too involved in controversy, man. He needs to get the hell out of there. So the same statement that we always make about an Antonio Brown, or, you know what I'm saying, another vocal black player, needs to be said about Aaron Rodgers. He needs to shut the hell up and play football. Flat out. He's too involved in all this political extra bullshit to the point where it distracts him. Even though they say it don't. Well, if his bullshit controversy in the media don't distract him from playing football, why is it okay to say that type of talk distracts a Richard Sherman? You know what I'm saying? How is it okay to say that it distracts Russell Wilson? It's not. Everything has to be equally yoked.
Right.
So he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He needs to shut the hell up and play football until he's done. When he's done, absolutely. Get on that political platform and say and do what you need to do. But right now, shut your ass up and play football.
Okay. Very interesting. Very insightful. So with that being said, and you brought up the political aspect of it, what's your take on the whole political aspects of what he's dealing with? I know you'd rather for him to shut up, but he hasn't done that. So with everything that's going on right now with the Predator and One Brothas Mind, we call this thing we all been dealing with the Predator. And we call the other thing that they want everybody to get the ooh-wee. But the Predator and the ooh-wee. So with the things that he's done and talked about as far as the Predator and everything, what's your take on it? What's your response to that?
Well, I mean, I got to take the stance of your employer's rules and requirements should take precedent. So at the beginning of the season, throughout the season, the NFL has done what they were supposed to do based on medical professionals, based on what their lawyers have told them they needed to do. We have other cases of players who have lied and have not followed those rules. And unfortunately, we got to bring it up. We got to have those tough conversations.
Right.
Majority of those players have been black.
Right.
They have been suspended. They have been put on quarantine where they can't play, which means they can't get the game checked. I mean, we keep going down the line. Here is again a first ballot Hall of Famer who admits to lying. Alternative facts, as they say. And nothing happened. Like it was like a virtual slap on the wrist.
Yep.
And he continues to scoff at the idea that, yeah, I lied, so what? I didn't want to put something in my body that like come on now. You admitted that you lied. The NFL and Goodell should have came down and he should have lost a game check or two.
Right.
Bullshit ain't none. At the end of the day, in this thing that we call life, we need to make sure that the predator or any type of predator, whatever minimum information that we have, you at least try and follow it as best you can.
Right.
So if your employer gives you a mandate and you decide not to take that mandate, what happens to the normal everyday average motherfucker?
Either they gone or they get an exemption.
Exactly. He didn't even take the time to say I need an exemption. So
right.
It's like, again, there were pathways for him to follow the appropriate steps.
Right.
Be a role model. Make sure you do what you need to do. and then you can fight the good fight after the fact. But still try and protect yourself, your family, and your teammates, which is your extended family, as best you can with the predator, which most of us don't know what the fuck's going on with it.
Right.
So it's like really, and like I was telling you a couple weeks ago, I felt like he should have got suspended. I felt like he should have got fined. I felt like the players in his locker room, they should have lost respect for him. Some of them probably didn't want to play for him. But at the end of the day, again, first ballot Hall of Famer. Your team goes as he goes. So I feel like the team and the NFL, as most of the country did, put winning and making money above people's like safety.
Right.
And I think that's bullshit. You'll say that.
Okay. Now, I'll say this on that issue. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. But then there's another small factor in there that I believe was his and some of the other guys' motivation for basically lying. And that small factor is, okay, if I just file an exemption, fine. Mm-hmm. And now I have to play my season under these other or different conditions. Fine. When the predator get me, now I gotta miss pretty much like two games almost, depending on when it hit me. I don't want to catch the negative backlash from having to miss those up to 2 games, and have all the fans, all my people mad at me. I don't want to deal with that. So to me, that was his and some of the others, their main motivation to say, well, the league is making a difference and making people who don't want to get it function under a different protocol, which I can agree with. I don't see no problem with that. But then they're adding the element, well, it's actually gonna make me when I do get it, it's gonna make me catch a whole lot of heat from fans because now I can't play. I got this extra time. Whereas if I had got the ooh-wee, I would only at most miss 1 game. You see what I'm saying? So I get their motivation. I don't agree with it. I think, hey, you get in your lane. Whatever lane that is, get in it. That's why I have so much respect for Kyrie. Okay, fine. Get it. He got in his lane and said, oh, well. Right. And I think that's what everybody should have done.
I agree. That's what I was going to say. That's who I was going to pull out as an example. Kyrie took the stand to be vocal right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. I'm going to deal with my consequences. I'm going to stand up and be a man about mine.
Right.
I'm not doing this. I sit out. I miss these game checks. I'm going to do what I need to do, but I'm taking my spiritual, my emotional, my physical, all the above stands. And I take that. In my opinion, what Rodgers and other folks did was cowardice. You're a coward. You're worried about what somebody else thinks to the point where you put other folks at risk.
Right.
Don't do that. Kyrie flat out said, you know what, I'm not taking this and I'm not going to put nobody else at risk. I'm wearing my mask. I'm doing all the stuff I need to do, but I don't believe in this ooh-wee.
Right.
So if you don't believe in it, take your stance, do what you're supposed to do, and deal with the consequences as a man should.
Right.
Don't lie about it. Don't try and hide it. Don't put it underneath the table. Like, that don't make no sense to me. And that's why I said, like, for me, what Aaron Rodgers did, he was a coward. You're a coward. Don't put yourself in a position knowing that you got all this influence, knowing that you got all these people. You go around the country and play in front of thousands of people. You signing autographs, you walk away, you slapping people's hands, you doing all this other stuff. You putting people at risk.
Right.
And then you come up positive.
Yep.
And then it finally comes out. You ain't get it. You ain't get the OE. The predator that jumped on you. He in your innards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, come on, man.
Right.
And ain't no telling how long you had it. You just started having symptoms, and now because they test
Right.
you before every game, that's when they figure it out.
Right.
Had they not been testing,
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah.
He could be the result, and this is the thing that
It could be a super spreader.
it could be the result of some of these hospitals and some of these places that the NFL has played, of people dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he's spreading, you know what I'm saying, to different cities and different people. And don't get me wrong, some of these people don't give a damn.
Right.
So we can't leave that aspect out of there. But I mean, in all seriousness, you know what I'm saying? Like he's going to events, he's talking to people, you know what I'm saying? He's doing private events and everything.
Yep.
And people are under the assumption, based on his alternative fact,
that he's good.
That he's good. So they not wearing a mask around him, because you know when you get into an intimate environment, you know what I'm saying, it's a smaller group of people relax.
Right, of course.
So it's like you put people at risk knowingly. Kyrie didn't do it. Kyrie was like,
right.
No, Even when they were showing pictures of him out in the public and doing other things, he was wearing his damn mask.
Right.
He was staying away from folks.
Right.
Now, when they show pictures of Rodgers out in the public doing things, do this man got a mask on?
Nope.
Rest of my case.
Yeah. Okay, now here's the next piece, though. With that said, especially information that has finally been slowly coming out here more recently, that's completely opposite of the original stance, the original information and guidance that was so-called put out. The more recent information is the CDC has been slowly letting it out that the ooh-wee doesn't prevent you from contracting the predator, nor does it prevent you from spreading the predator.
Well,
so
I'm not gonna say that, because
well, that's what the CDC says. So that's what I'm saying.
No, that's not what they said. That's not what they said.
What they say? Give me
start.
start.
Is the ooh-wee helps minimize adverse reaction, like the risk.
But is that scientifically quantifiable?
I can't speak to that.
Okay. All right. Go on and say what you're going to say then. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Is what you just said is not accurate. The CDC
if it's not
said that it's a vaccine. It is not a cure.
Oh, Lord. We're going to turn this into a whole nother show, y'all. A whole different kind of show. Okay, let's...
We got turned to a whole nother show. I'm just saying. Like you got to use the facts, man. You can't twist the words.
How can it... You said it reduces...
The fact is that even when the first emergency release of the ooh-wee came out,
mm-hmm.
It was always stated, and it has always been stated, that it is to minimize the effects of the predator.
That's not true.
It was not to stop. It did. I mean, because again, when you think about it, we're dealing with a respiratory infection.
Right.
So the predator, you don't. It's a virus.
Right.
It's not a bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say, well, we gonna give you a vaccine and you can no longer spread it and you can no longer catch it. Because the information we know of, let's pull ourselves back to common sense. A vaccine has never been a cure. It's never been a situation where it's going to stop somebody from catching a virus. It's going to stop the spread of a virus.
Right. Not for a respiratory virus type like we're dealing with.
Correct. Thanks for the clarification. Correct. So what I'm saying is what was stated was by non-medical professionals, non-CDC folks, is the misinformation that's out there. It was always talked about herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
Herd immunity minimizes the effect or impact of a virus. It does not stop it, and it has never said that it stops it. What it says is it allows you to control it. So, and I'm going to pull us back to that Ebola virus outbreak.
Right.
That I'm not even gonna say his name, and his you know what I'm saying, cabinet or panel of professionals helped control.
Mm-hmm.
What they did in that situation was they did the epidemiology, they found the source, and then they isolated it.
Right.
With the orange person,
Mr. Cheeto.
Mr. Cheeto said, "Oh, it's not gonna come over here. That's an Asian virus."
Mm-hmm.
So the opportunity to control it and minimize its effects in order to study it properly, to attack it, we missed that window.
Okay.
So there is no such thing as stopping people from contracting it, stopping the spread of it, because it is airborne. So what we have to do now is we have to try and work towards what's called herd immunity. Stop the idiots and the cowards out there who think that the predator ain't real, who think that the predator just gonna magically one day disappear, who thinks that a vaccine is a cure. They need to stop. Sit back. If you don't believe in the ooh-wee, sit your ass at home. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Make sure you social distance. Do what you need to do. But understand that you still can contract it. You can still spread it. At the end of the day, what the issue or the concern is you. If you get it and your immune system is compromised, you in trouble. Or not. Because you might be good. You might be old neg or something like that. I mean, but I guess what I'm saying in all seriousness after the bullshit, what I'm saying is just the idea of a vaccine being a cure is completely incorrect information and a wrong understanding. I just don't want nobody thinking that if they get the vaccine, that's just gonna magically cure and get rid of the predator. That's not how it works.
Okay.
That's not how it works at all.
Okay, I'm so glad you got all that out. Because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Real quick, and then we can move on. However you want to roll. But devil's advocate, many people would say part of the problem and where my comment came from first was the fact that they called it a vaccine. Under the previous definition of a vaccine, the one that was there when they started, when the CDC made all these announcements and the ooh-wee was put out at that time, the definition of an ooh-wee was that it was prevention. It literally, not reduction, not help, but prevention. So, okay, well, no, they changed the definition, dog. They literally changed the definition to fit what you just described, to that it helps, it reduces, it helps strengthen, and things like that. But the definition when they first put the ooh-wee out was prevention. So many people, when they first put the ooh-wee out, had the understanding, whether wrong, right, or indifferent, they had the understanding that if I get the ooh-wee, I'm good. I can't get it. I'm protected.
Right.
Which is then beyond that, they doubled down. And I want to say they now, if you don't remember them saying this, please let me know. But
no, I'm riding with you.
After they put the ooh-wee out, let me say it like this. After the ooh-wee came out, people started getting it. They was like, well, if I got the ooh-wee, I don't no longer need to wear a mask because I can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go on, kind of function back to normal because I'm good. I'm protected.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either people got that perspective incorrectly from the definition and the information that was being put out. And might I remind you, your boy, even before the ooh-wee came out, your boy Fauci was like, nah, nobody need to wear no mask and all this stuff. So all these different factors built on top of each other, mm-hmm. to where a lot of people, when the ooh-wee came out, They was like, I'm good now. I ain't got to wear no mask. I don't want to wear no mask. I want to go on, and I'm good. And that was not true.
Correct. I'm not disagreeing with nothing you just said. But what I want you to open your third eye about is all the other information that came with it, like what was stated before and after the changes to the definition were. And I had this conversation with my son earlier. When you go to a place, and this is an analogy, when you go to a place that serves a hot beverage, did that cup or apparatus that they serve the hot beverage in, did it always have a symbol or verbiage to say caution hot?
No.
What caused that verbiage change? What caused that change?
A few fools got burnt.
Don't try and minimize that. Don't say
a few fools got burnt.
A whole lot of fools
got burnt. Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to put in context, a few fools took advantage of that situation for monetary gain.
I agree with you.
So therein lies the CDC and Merriam-Webster and whoever else the hell controls the definition, saying, hey, wait a minute, man. We telling people a vaccine is supposed to prevent this, and not only did we tell them that, we tried to put out an incentive to get people to get vaccinated by telling them, if you get vaccinated, you ain't gotta wear your damn mask.
Right.
So misinformation on top of misinformation caused
the hell we in right now.
No, it caused the hell we in right now to be expanded.
Yes.
To go even further.
Yes.
Because now you got individuals who are asymptomatic.
Yes.
Who got it.
Yes.
Walking around passing it.
Here you go. Take that with you where you go. Here, brother.
What's lost in a lot of that translation, and again, I don't want to minimize the adverse reactions of the ooh-wee, because we know for a fact that those are there for every age group, individuals who have compromised immune systems. I mean, all types of reasons of why. However, what happened was these folks who go and partake in the ooh-wee going home with a cough, with exhaustion, with like what they say originally happened with the manufacturers and these medical researchers were saying would happen if you get the ooh-wee. But then the people who get misinformation, people who know that they have compromised systems, who will not choose to get the ooh-wee, are actually getting the brunt of it. And it's being stated falsely, and I ain't gonna say false because it's kind of true. The folks that get ooh-wee is spreading it, and they causing more issues than originally projected.
Yes.
That's absolutely true. Because if you just told me if I get the ooh-wee, I ain't gotta wear this mask, I can start going back to having my parties, 20, 30 more people. I can start hanging out together with all these random folks. Why wouldn't I?
Right.
I mean, it's like common sense goes out the door because you got so many different sides of the story. You got so much bullshit by the federal government. And what I don't understand is how, as a society, we went from a situation where the mass majority of us never trusted the government to the point where we like, oh, well, they said we get there, we walk around with, now you won't trust them.
Right.
At what point in time did they open up to be able to be trustworthy?
Mm-hmm.
So why would you believe them that it's okay for you to start walking around without your mask on? It's because you yourself, by nature, we self.
Yes.
So we gonna believe and follow whatever
works for us.
What works for us.
Yeah.
So that's why I said for me, and I mean, like my fiance tell me all the time, better wear your mask. And I'll be like, all right, cool. I have it in my pocket or something, but if I'm gonna run in somewhere real quick, I'll go without it. But if I know I'm gonna be in somewhere for an extended period of time, if I pull up somewhere and I see it's a whole lot of people, I'm either gonna turn around or I'm putting my mask on if I gotta weather it.
Right.
I mean, there is no negotiations with that. But when you go in places now with a mask on, people look at you like you crazy. And it's
In
like,
some places,
do you not believe
right.
that the predator's still out here?
Yeah, I trip off of people. I pretty much everywhere I go, if I walk inside a door that ain't mine, I got my mask on. I'm not saying there ain't been an occasion here or there where I ain't just totally forgot. I left it in the car or whatever, but I'd say 98% of the time my mask is on. And I walk in and everybody's standing there looking like I'm an alien and I'm laughing at them. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Y'all do y'all. Do y'all.
Man, me and my daughter went to the mall last weekend, man, and we would walk around that mall with our mask on, and when I tell you, it was like 1 out of every 15th person had a mask on.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there looking. I said, "Ooh," I called my daughter "Do Baby."
Right.
I said, "Ooh, Do Baby, we gotta get up out of here." Man, I was like, man, we just gonna order you some clothes and shoes online. We shouldn't even came up in here. But she wanted to try the cookie dough, and she wanted to try and get into the Build-A-Bear store. So we took advantage of it. And I was like, man, let's go. We're gonna have us a little dad and daughter day. But man, that was an experience, man. It's like, you know, even during Christmas, I was going to the mall and stuff by myself, man, and it was packed.
Right.
And it was less people wearing masks during Christmas than it is now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's one of the peak shopping seasons. You're gonna see, you know, at any given time, it's thousands of people in the mall. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody really wearing a mask. It's crazy. That's the dope.
My whole thing, man, is what's caused all these problems is just the whole convoluted batch of half information, misinformation, and lies. And they got everybody now just all over the place, man.
Right.
And it really,
you don't really know what's true and what's not true.
Yeah. It's messed up. It's messed up completely now. So I don't know how you put that cat back in the bag. You know, I don't know how that's done, but it kind of is what it is now, man. So you know,
and I feel like, I mean, that's where, like, for me, watching the variants, you know what I'm saying, and trying to stay connected with a medical research facility, you know what I'm saying, looking at them. I mean, even the CDC right now, it used to be the gold standard, you know what I'm saying, for medical, you know what I'm saying, recommendations. But now it's like, because of the orange guy, you really can't trust him. You know what I'm saying? Like he would send out mandates, and they've got letters and you know, official communications stating from the White House, and it may not have been the orange guy directly. I mean, I try and be fair, but you know, it was from people that he appointed, telling them to hold certain information, or this is the information you need to provide. Even the orange guy would stand up there during his press conferences and say damn near what he wanted, even though, you know, Fauci was trying to tell him not to. You know, so it's difficult because there is so much misinformation out there. So that's why, like, I try and recommend people, and I talk to, you know, a couple infectious disease folks within the state at different medical facilities, just to hear what their opinions are, you know, and understand what that is. It's their opinion.
Right.
I mean, it ain't exact science. So it's like, I get their opinion. I ask them where some resources that I can look at. And like I said, for children research, because I wanted to make sure for my kids, if we was going to do it, I needed to have as much information as I could.
Right.
And so one person told me, look at the Maryland Children's Research. I mean, that's what they do. They research the effects of vaccinations or UWEs on children. You know what I'm saying? So I just started following them, reading through their website. They give updates. They medical researchers do conferences and talk about stuff, and they release information. And you know, again, if you're not medically inclined or can't read through the jargon, you might want to ask your medical professionals some questions. But I mean, me being in the healthcare field for damn near 20 years now, it's just, you know who you need to talk to. You know what resources you can go to that you can trust. Everybody don't trust the same material. So it's one of those. Take it in, absorb what you can, the rest of it.
Make a decision.
And make a decision. The rest of it is bullshit. And for the life of me, I'm gonna say this out loud. Federal government got hidden agendas. It's always gonna be that. So
of course,
take it for what it is. When you hear and see them saying certain things,
it's not for you.
If you don't feel like you can do the research on it, man, you better step back and let somebody else do the research and hope that they doing it actually, because they'll send you down the road, man.
Yeah,
they definitely send you down the road. So, man, one thing that I'm sorry for the sidebar, but one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about really was HBCUs.
I got it in the list.
Okay, yeah,
we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna get right to it.
I seen that list and I was like, man, that's the real one I want to talk about.
Yeah. Got it in the list. So basically, just to summarize, looks like we're in total agreement, especially with Rodgers, with the whole, make a decision, man. Do this or do that. Don't sit in the middle. Right. In the middle, you get squished. And that's basically what's happened to him. It's never a good place to be. Make a decision and move forward with that decision. And that's for everybody. Because here at One Brothas Mind, I've told people, I've said it over and over again, everybody will have to make a choice.
In every situation.
Yes. So you can't sit back and say, because it's ultimately your choice.
Right.
When it comes down to it. And it will have to be made. Now, we're not going to get in because we can go off on another deep end on the consequences of the choices. But the whole point with him, that's why I brought up that part about him. I think it was AB and a few others. They was like, they lied in various ways. They lied, and they was like, mainly because they didn't want to have to deal with the consequences of their choice. Whereas Kyrie was like, I'm good. Whatever is whatever. This is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Boom. And that's what all of them should have did. So, I like I said, we're in agreement. Now, the last note on Rodgers, you had your destinations. I'm going to hold off on the Houston destination because I got that in the list, as you know. We're going to get to that. You already broke down your information on dude, what is it? Is it Collins or what's his name in Oakland or LA? Quarterback?
Vegas, David Carr.
Vegas, yeah. You already broke down your information on that. I hadn't heard that one.
Or Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yeah. I hadn't heard that his brother's on the TV show. Mm-hmm. I had not heard that one, so that was interesting to hear. That was I can appreciate that. So we're gonna get into moving on down the list, and we're going to hit on the HBCU and Watson. All right, hey, it's about to go down, man. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, on the Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay situation. So, let's move on to another popular quarterback situation. My man, Roethlisberger. And what's going on with that? I didn't know if you had any feelings on that. If you do, go ahead and drop them.
What's going on with that? You QB up. What's going on with
that? Well, he actually just announced his retirement. He officially announced it on social media today.
Did the official?
Yeah. He did a little video post and announced.
He should have did the official 2 years ago.
Hey man, 2 years ago, we was 10-0, baby. What you talking about?
Y'all was what?
Ain't gonna be no black. We was 10-0. I said it. I was 10-0. We didn't win no more games, but we was 10. I said we didn't win no more games, but we was 10-0, baby. So I ain't trying to hit, but that wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault.
He should have walked off because what he do this year?
Struggle, but
no. I'm not talking about like the whole year. I'm talking about what he do at the end of the season when he thought it was over.
He walked out.
No, that man bashed y'all.
Who?
Basically said y'all ain't have a chance in hell to play with the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, because it's the team. The team ain't all together straight right now. We can't run the ball. We got a good running back.
What was the difference 2 years ago?
2 years ago, they didn't even try to run the ball. They just said, hey, man, throw these little 4 and 5 yards.
40 times a game, but y'all were winning.
Yes.
And y'all had the same exact squad.
Right, but no, two things different. One, we didn't have the new running back that we got. And the second thing that was different is that was the whole reason why we went 10-0. Because it took 10 weeks for all the defenses to go, all right, they ain't running. So we about to shut the pass down. Boom, we ain't win no more games. That's just literally how that worked. The first 10 games, they were still like, maybe they might run, maybe. And we was able to move the ball and do what we did. But after that 10th game, it was a wrap. It was like, they ain't running. And even if we do, if they do run, we ain't worried about them running. Let's just shut the pass down. And they shut that down, so we couldn't do nothing. So we couldn't win nothing. We ain't win no more games. So he was cool. Like I said, if we had a running game any of these this year, last year, or the year before, we would have been in there. But we got our O-line can't run block. That's what's wrong. Our O-line can't run and block, and I think they announced. I heard the other day he's the leading sacked quarterback in NFL history. I heard that reported the other day. So he beat up. He a big dude. He took it all, but he beat up. And he like, you know what? I'm good, man. I gave him a chance. We got us a running back. We tried to see if that would work. But our O-line can't run block. So, it is what it is.
Man, I left 2 years ago.
We were 10-0, baby. What you talking about?
Everybody. All that bull y'all want.
If we had a half a running game, that's Super Bowl, baby.
When the last time the Ravens swept y'all in the season?
Ooh, it's been a minute.
2 years ago.
I got short-term memory problems, man. Short-term memory problems. They never did that.
Man, when the Ravens finally beat y'all twice in the regular season, Roethlisberger should have hung it up.
Yeah.
Because the year after that, what happened? Come on, man.
I told you I got short-term memory problems. All I remember is yesterday. That's all I remember is yesterday. Got short-term memory problems, man. At least tonight, right now. And bump the Ravens, man. They suckers now. Anyway.
They suckers.
They straight suckers. I said it loud. That's right. So,
hey, man, listen,
what?
Man. What I'm saying, though, and I'm saying this out loud, that rapist should have hung it up 2 years ago. I felt like he knew it. I mean, he got injured. He missed a lot of games in the last 2 years. I mean, he knew his body was giving out because a lot of people don't want to recognize it, and you buy it. So, I mean, I give you that. He been getting beat up damn near his entire career, but he's big as hell.
Yeah.
I used to hate watching him play because the moment he took off running, you knew he was going to have a yak crazy.
Yeah.
Because the first person, if it wasn't a defensive lineman, he was finna get another 5 yards.
Yeah.
Without question. And some defensive linemen still went for a ride.
Yeah.
So I hated watching that motherfucker play. But when Father Time jump on your back, you got to know when to say when. And don't get me wrong, any top tier athlete, because I'm gonna say this, I don't think Roethlisberger a first round Hall of Famer, or first ballot Hall of Famer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years after he's done, he's standing up there with a gold jacket because he won Super Bowls. When he was on the field, regardless of what weapons he had out there, you knew they still had a chance to win because of him. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I honestly feel like he might get snubbed, you know what I'm saying, 2 or 3 times before he actually get in. But I think he should have hung it up 2 years ago. This season and last season was really just him, in my opinion, hoping something was going to click, hoping some young athletes was going to come in and wake the squad up, which y'all had. So, I mean, I'm not going to shortchange y'all. But, you know, I just think it was him hoping that a young squad was going to build and help him. I mean, I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be a favorite comment or conversation, but I'm going to say it. Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's longevity is not his own.
Of course not.
Even though he can officially be dubbed the GOAT because he's won more Super Bowls than anybody, his success is not his own. He's always had young, stout players around him. He's always had the trust of his coaching staff. And there's a lot to be said about that in the league because there's not many players that can say the same.
Right.
Especially not quarterbacks. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. So, I mean, had Roethlisberger had that, and don't get me wrong, he had that a while, but it just fell apart. If your defense don't keep going, if you don't keep getting young defensive players, especially DBs in pass-happy leagues today, you're in trouble. And I feel like when the Steelers, EA, Steelers with the EA started losing their defensive players, you know, when Troy Polamalu retired, you know what I'm saying, and you know, just keep going with their DBs, it was all downhill from there. They really couldn't get they couldn't get nothing to click, even though they had an offense that was like it was super exciting to watch.
Right.
You know, Schuster and old boy before him, Antonio Brown, all in watching them play with Roethlisberger was, you know, who was the other dude?
Bell.
Yeah. Watching them play on offense was some good football. But that defense started to fall apart. Players started aging out, started losing the trust of the coaches and the front office, and they just couldn't build that defense back up. The offensive line, same way. Some of the offensive linemen got traded or, you know, went somewhere else because the Steelers didn't want to pay them. And it just kind of fell apart, right? They paid Roethlisberger all that money and ain't had nothing left for nobody.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna conclude this blasphemy talk right here. The Ravens are suckers. We ain't hearing nothing about them.
They ain't got nobody either.
The problem that we've had, the Steelers have had the last couple of years is the O-line. Yeah, you can have a weak defense, weak secondary, but if you got a good O-line, that's how when we were dominating, it was because of our O-line. We could run the ball. We can maintain time of possession, things of that nature, and keep people off the field. But if you can't do that, you can't win in the NFL. Sorry. It's just how that works. So
completely agree. Even if you ain't got no running back. If your O-line can get your quarterback time to turn the short pass game into a run game, you can win in the league and be successful at it. But when your O-line fall apart, I don't care how good your quarterback is. I don't care how good your running back is. And I'm gonna call it out. Look at the Colts. They quarterback halfway decent, and they running back is in this season was top 5.
Right.
But they O-line was trash.
That kills a team.
That kills a team. I mean, even when they were able to sustain drives because of their running back, because the quarterback wasn't taking risk and was controlling the ball, I mean, it inevitably happened. I mean, the defensive line pinned their ears back. The linebackers and defensive coordinators start watching, and they like, man, there's gaps in that line. Let's take advantage. And then they started blitzing, and when them blitzes came, man, the Colts O-line fell apart.
And like I said earlier, what you just described, you literally just described why we didn't win that 11th in the old game. Because everybody just went on full blitz, and it was a wrap after that. It was a wrap after that, and it's been a wrap since. I mean, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer just based on his numbers and the 2 Super Bowls, and in comparing that with the other 10 or so quarterbacks in his era and time frame, I think he will be.
Well, you got to remember, man, he's not just competing with the quarterbacks in his era. That's
right.
Why
I get it.
That's why I say I don't think he's a first.
But here's the thing, though. He's already blown by all of Bradshaw's numbers. He done been blown by them.
Man, so, it's a mediocre quarterback nowadays.
Again, you got to stick with the
Super Bowls, though.
Right. So do he got 2.
Right, so, and that's why I said I think that's what's gonna push him over the hump. Yes. And that's why I said I'm not surprised if he's a first ballot. I'm not surprised, but me personally, he wouldn't be a first ballot with me. I mean, he legit. But depending on who comes up eligible and who hasn't made it yet, in my opinion, he would be snubbed 2 or 3 years before he actually makes it.
All right.
So about year 7, 8 of his retirement is when I see him getting it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let that stand. Hey, Mr. Meach, watch your back coming out the house in the morning in the bushes. That's all I'm saying. But
hey man, we in Packer country down here, bro.
I don't care. Watch your back. That's all I'm saying. Whenever you look around,
see them Steelers flags coming down here.
Look around. Watch your back.
Them spotlights on you.
That's all I'm saying. So that's what it is on Pittsburgh. Now I did want to add this other element with the Pittsburgh thing. With him retiring, there's been rumors and people speculating, because that's what speculators do. They're actually speculating with Rodgers trying to join in and come in with Pittsburgh. If that happened, I would be cool with that. But that's not who I want for the Steelers or who I want to come in.
What would y'all give up though? I mean, that's the question.
That's another problem.
I mean, because when you think about the two teams tend to have success doing the same thing,
right?
Which is in the draft. They don't really go after old guys,
right?
They don't go after vets. They tend to go after draft picks.
Exactly.
So it would be a hard sell for me, because Green Bay looking for at least 2 or 3 picks and some money.
Right. So I think they can get some picks.
I don't see them doing it.
I think Pittsburgh can give him some picks, but in regards to his age, like you just referred to, that's not an equal value to me, to give up young picks with all the possibilities in the world for maybe 2, maybe 3 more years.
Right.
And then that's it. That's not worth it. That's why he's not my pick. I would be cool with it, but he's not who I think they would do best with it. There's another young fella out there, same young fella that you would rather have from Houston. I'd rather grab him than Aaron Rodgers. So,
which young fella? You got to say
the young fella, Deshaun Watson.
Yes. Okay.
Because that now you give up those kind of picks and whatnot, he gonna be around for 5 to 8 more years at least.
Right.
So now you talking more equal value, but anything other than that or shorter than that, nah, I'm good on that. I'm good. And I'm not a huge college football fan. I don't see and don't know of any college quarterback coming out in the next year or 2 that's looking like all that either. So I personally would rather them go after Deshaun is my number 1, and then my number 2 option would be your boy out of Seattle, Russell. Yeah. A little bit younger, you get a few more years, but those are my 2 for Pittsburgh. So,
I mean, I can see Russell. I don't see them. I don't see Rodgers at all.
No,
Just me personally, I don't see that at all. The team dynamics is too close.
Right.
I mean, again, them, and when I say dynamics, let me clarify. Both of those teams have the most success in the draft.
Right.
They do not go after veteran players.
Right.
If they go after veteran players, they are linemen, because they know that they get their bread and butter by having a stable O-line.
Yes.
I've never really seen Green Bay have success going into free agency. Yes. I've never seen them do it with a trade. They've always, as far as I can remember, and I could be wrong, but as far as I can remember, it's always been draft picks. 4th, 5th round draft picks. They develop them. Those 2 programs are really good at developing young talent and making them great.
Yes.
Other teams, not so much. I mean, so like when I look at it, I'm like, I'm thinking about, teams who are trying to win right now.
Right.
Who are willing to give up draft picks, who are willing to give up, compensation, and, make sure that they try and come as close as they can to what the right now value is. And that's why I said Vegas don't have an issue with spending money.
Right.
Houston don't have an issue with spending money. And I'm going to say this team name, even though I don't like it and I don't see them in a conversation, but the Cowboys don't have a problem spending money.
Oh, yeah.
They go after veterans because they are trying to win right now. They're not trying to develop nobody. They know that they got their salary cap, but they gonna pay the penalty because they like, we got the bread and we don't care. So that's what said for me, Vegas and Houston. Houston is in a situation where they are as falling to be the worst franchise in the league again. because Detroit has a young nucleus, and although Detroit been sitting on the bottom of the league for a couple years, man, you better be looking out for Detroit if they can keep it together and they don't start firing their coaches and stuff.
Yeah,
Detroit got a young nucleus, and they are hungry.
that's the thing with Detroit. Detroit always fire their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't. All the coaches haven't been good, but the few
they
good ones
fired
that
their
they
coaches
had, they
and
get rid of them too fast.
Yeah.
So you can't get nothing established. So
Right.
yeah. All right. So that's Roethlisberger hit, and the Steeler hit. Rodgers gone. Go somewhere else. We good.
Right. I honestly don't care where he go. Yeah. I mean, but the two teams that I think can get value for him really is Houston and Vegas.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so we're gonna move off of Steelers. Like I said, watch it back. Just what it is. So
I got cameras at every angle. Let's see.
That's fine. We ain't worried about them cameras. We ain't worried about them at all.
You ain't got to worry about the cameras. You got to worry about what happened when that alert go off.
Oh Lord,
because
got more people.
This AR and this bullpup and this 9 and this 40 cal, boy, they all already loaded.
That's
man.
all right. That's all right. We go old school. We just cut your water supply off and starve you out. You know, hey, there's many ways to skin a cat. But anyway, We're gonna move on, y'all, before we go too far off the rails. Let's see what's next on the list. Oh yeah, it's still kind of, well, not really on the Steelers, but your boy. What's going on with your boy AB, man? What? How you feeling on that? Have you seen any of the interviews? You know,
so
what's your perspective?
Man, I'm on the fence, man. And I know we said you.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the right place to be.
I know you said you always gotta make a choice. You gotta choose a side. Yeah. Gotta choose a side. And if I have to choose a side, I'm gonna go with AB. Mm-hmm. However, my position right now is, and it's leaning more towards AB, but my position right now is in the middle, man, because it's like, on one token, you got the narrative where AB basically saying he wasn't ready to play. He was still in pain. He was having issues. He had the bone spurs or whatever in his ankle. He tried to go, suited up, did what he's supposed to do, knowing that he already still on the hot seat. And the way Arians came at him, whether the intent was to basically say that or not, or make him feel like your career is done, AB took it as Arians was saying his career was done. So then you got Arians coming out basically saying, man, here's a selfish guy. We was trying to get him in the field to get his incentive money and everything. But when it first came out, and correct me if I'm wrong, AB not one point in time said it had anything to do with his money. He's always took in the stance that it was his health, and he knew he wasn't 100%. But what was happening is the media and the Bucks have changed the narrative.
Yes.
Even Tom Brady came out to change the narrative, and they're still pushing this bullshit narrative that AB was upset because he wasn't going to get his incentive.
Yep.
But AB has been consistent. Even when he released the text messages, in the text messages it was saying, if I can go, coach, I'm going to go. But I'm still hurt right now.
Right.
So like you got these sports analysts saying, take the cortisone shot. From what he says, he took the cortisone shot.
Right.
Halftime in the third quarter, he still couldn't play. Like, he couldn't do what he felt he needed to do to help the team to win.
Right.
So he chose to sit himself down because he realized that his coach and the trainers wouldn't sit him down. So I sat back and I said, you know what? I'm going to wait until more information comes out because we know how this happens. We get the knee-jerk reaction. I want to hear what really happened because here is a man's career in the balance.
Right.
Now, he older. I mean, so his chances is already slim.
Right.
He fucked his situation up with the Steelers, then went to the Raiders and fucked that situation up, and he got a chance with Tampa, won a Super Bowl with him. So it's like come on, man. You got a history. So there's more information to come. But I'm happy AB did what he did. Expose the information that you have first.
Right.
But the sad part is Tom Brady's involved. The Golden Boys involved. So when the Golden Boys spoke and said something, everything that AB had to say in the world's eyes and in the NFL fans' eyes was irrelevant. And that's sad. So that's why I say I'm on the fence, because I'm like, he knows better. You put yourself on some pedestal like you were infallible. Man, you were already in a situation where you make the wrong turn, wrong move. Look at Pac-Man Jones.
Right.
Look at Ocho Cinco. Look at Terrell Owens. I mean, we can keep going example after example of brothers who were top tier. Some of the best players at their position, but because of their mouths, because of their attitude, man, them folk wasn't gonna let them do what they wanted to do. At the end of the day, you still an employee. You can be the best employee in the world, but if you in here causing all this turmoil and bullshit, I ain't got time for that.
Right.
And I feel like that's AB right now. I'm like, so that's what I say. I'm on the fence. I want to be on his side, but I'm on the fence because I'm like, I can't go to Tampa Bay's side. That's not even a choice. Like, because I feel like Tampa Bay is wrong. But I feel like what Tampa Bay does, every team does. AB just exposed it. AB just exposed it. That's all it does.
Yeah. So my thing is, I agree with everything you just said. The only things I would add to that is a lot of people or a lot of fans, in my opinion, are not aware of a few things in regards to how the NFL works. One, in this regard, I think they mainly wanted AB to get back out there to use him as a decoy. Even though he was injured, if he's not able to get open, TB12 ain't gonna throw him the ball. That's just the bottom line. But if he's still on the field running routes in some kind of capacity, the defense has to respect it so that they can't overload on the other guys. So that creates opportunity for the other receivers. So I get it, and a lot of people, a lot of fans don't understand that that's a real part of the NFL. There's hundreds of players that will testify they played hurt, they knew they couldn't run full speed, they had pulled hammies, whatever the case may be, but they kept playing because in their mind, they were like, I'm still able to help my team even if I'm just a decoy. Well, that's good and fine, but there's issues that you have to assess in that whole category. One, right. Can I make my injury worse than it currently is by doing this? Two, right. As you mentioned, he ain't 24 no more.
Right. He
getting older, so now your body responds slower and different to injuries than it did when you was younger. Am I gonna be able to bounce back from this? Right. Things of that nature. So now it's like, I got to be real careful with my injuries, or more careful than before, because I do want to keep playing for at least a little while longer.
Right.
So all those things come into play. Now, a second thing that I've said forever, I don't know why it is that many NFL fans don't get this, but the NFL, in many ways, in my opinion, is racist as hell. I'm just gonna say it. It's been racist. You already know, man. So, with that being said, I'm not gonna go all the way down that rabbit hole, but
hey, wait a minute, man. Give me an example, man.
Yeah, and the example that I'm gonna stay focused on is related to this issue, right. And it's how the players are spoken to, how they're talked to. Okay, we have these issues show up in high school football as well as in college, but in those situations, the dynamics are different. It's the coach's word or that's it.
Right. And shut up and play.
Right. You got all them other type of dynamics. But this the NFL. I'm a man just like you are. Okay? And the NFL in my opinion, I didn't play in NFL, so I'm not speaking from any kind of experience. But you can't be in America in that type of high money, high power situation with the history that this country has and the instances that have been revealed of coaches saying and doing this. We just had, what was that, a dude slap a player in the helmet a few days ago? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Tampa Bay's head coach.
So, I mean, they the things that they do and say, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, the spotlight has always been put on the player for their wild response or incorrect response to something or behavior. Right. But when you're in a position of power as a coach or GM or whatever the case may be, you ain't got to flail your arms. You ain't got to scream and shout. All you got to do is give a look and say something real slick, real disrespectful, calmly, and the damage has been done. And in AB's case, dude was like, "You out of here!" Give him the throat chop and all this. Like, wait, what? Really?
You treating him like he a piece of property.
Exactly.
Like
exactly. And any kind of disrespectful communication from anybody, but especially in the NFL context, from the coaches, which most of them are white. We're gonna get into that. That's gonna inspire or extract a wide variety of responses out of black grown men NFL players. Mm-hmm. Some of them, because I checked out, I forget the name of the show, so I'm sorry y'all, but B. Marshall and them had a little sit down with AB a few days ago, and they discussed this whole issue. And they were stuck on the issue of, B. Marshall kept talking about what I would have done. You know, I would have just, he was talking about how he would just have gotten real close to Arian in his ear, you know, gave him that church voice. Look, you got to see me in the locker room or whatever, something like that. And it's like, and AB laughed at him. It's like, man, are you tripping? You a grown man, and he didn't check himself on how he communicated with me. So why I gotta be so-called the bigger man and check my response? Why can't I just respond with whatever's in my heart? It's basically what AB was saying. So
I mean, and I hear you, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think the way that I'm looking at this is not necessarily the problem was his response to Arians. I don't think that's a problem to me. What's got me on the fence with AB was his response and the way that he carried himself when he was leaving. He made that part. He made it a spectacle.
Yeah, I get you. He should just walked out.
Don't make it a fucking spectacle because you ain't a child. You a grown ass man. Even if you not finna sit here and lash out at Arians in his face on the sideline, why in the hell do you feel the need to walk off in the middle of the game, throwing your equipment, doing jumping jacks and shit across the back of the end zone? You did that shit because you wanted the attention.
I'm gonna tell you why. He did it because in most cases, for most of us, we had fathers. You better not show out about nothing. Or parents, same thing. There's a lot of moms don't play that. Did AB have that growing up? Did AB come up in that structure, or did he come up as a wild thorn? From everything that I know and understand, he came up pretty wild. So as far as in those real type situations and how you respond and react to them, some people are going to react in a more professional or controlled manner. They're still going to react. It's just like you said, okay, it would have been fine. He did take all the stuff, take your helmet, your shoulder pads, and just walk on out the stadium.
He could just walk the hell off.
And been done. And then wait for the press conference and say, okay, I'm done playing with Tampa Bay. I'm out. Peace, y'all. And been done.
No,
But,
no, no. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is walk off, get your ass to the locker room. There's going to be speculation,
right,
and then in the post game,
right,
because they gonna interview him,
right,
by the requirements, the rules of the NFL. If the media asks for a player to talk to him, they ain't got no choice.
right.
So knowing that you have that requirement as a player in an NFL, you get the platform, you get the seat.
But the other part of that is they get to edit that because they control that interview. They can edit it any way they want.
They can, but what sells? What gets viewers?
True.
Controversy.
True.
So if you really and truly wanted to expose the bullshit that just happened to you,
right,
as a grown man, why wouldn't you like? And I get it. That's what I said. I'm not disagreeing with you, but your upbringing should be replaced with your hunger. So
that's kind of what B. Marshall was saying.
And that's what I'm saying. B. Marshall had a point. I think he went about it the wrong way, though. Don't put yourself out there in what you would have done, because
right,
quiet as kept. B. Marshall had a couple of those situations too.
Yeah, of course.
And that man didn't do what he was telling AB he should have did.
Right.
So it's like, don't do that. Take it from a situation where if you're trying to teach this young man, you're trying to help him understand the mistake that he just made. Help him understand that by giving him the real. Talk to him about what the fuck he did was wrong. Call him out. You were wrong for throwing that tantrum. You weren't wrong for not going back in that game, because when you were in that game, y'all were losing.
Right.
When you sat down and you are no longer the focus, you're no longer in the conversation or equation, you gave your team a chance to win, which is what happened. That's what your intent was. That's what you were saying. If you can't give your team your all, if you can't put yourself or your team in a position to win, you need to remove yourself. That's what you were doing. That was some grown man shit. But then you lost all of that when you decide, when Arians come to you and do the throat slash thing and tell you you're done, like he your boss, like he owned you, like he your slave owner. Now you want to throw tantrums like you a little kid. That's what I'm saying. Like you were handling your shit, then all of a sudden it fell apart because your emotions got involved. You just was like, fuck that. I'm finna jump off this mouth, finna do what I need to do. Fuck what they talk about. You need to stop. Think about what you're doing, because now what he doing, he trying to do damage control.
Pretty much.
I need to play. I need that bag from the league. I need this. It's too late for that. You were already on your third strike.
Do you think somebody else is gonna sign him?
No, I don't. And
I think it will.
They talking about who was that they said was getting ready to sign him? The Ravens.
Yeah. Well, he wants to play for the Ravens.
Looking at him because he reached out to them, and
right,
other players on the team is trying
right,
to advocate for him. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be the same situation again with Ocho Cinco, Colin Kaepernick, Terrell Owens. I mean, I keep going. There's a couple other players out there, man, that got too much media attention, that were dogs that could still play. But because they got themselves involved in controversy, the league and the owners blackball them. So no matter how much the Ravens locker room, even if your boy, they quarterback, the Ravens quarterback, even if he comes out and says
Lamar
Jack, yeah, even if he comes out and says, "Hey, Coach Harbaugh, I want him," the Ravens owner will basically object. They will blackball him, and he will not play again. If he plays again, I will be shocked.
I hear you. I agree with you on everything you just said, except for about him playing again. I think he will.
Which team gonna take a chance on him?
I think the Ravens could.
I don't think they will.
I think there's about 2 or 3 other teams that actually could use him. And the question each of those teams are going to be asking themselves is, we already know it's going to go bad. But can we, just like Tampa Bay did, can we get a Super Bowl out of them before it go back? That's the real question they're going to be asking themselves.
I think that was the last situation when he stormed off and created that problem in Vegas.
Okay.
I think that was the last situation. Every team that he called, every team he worked out for, really was sitting there looking at him like, man, right. We know we can win some games with this man. Is it worth it? And the answer every team basically said was no.
But
and then here comes Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. Like, hey, Evans is good. We got Gronk back.
Right.
That's not enough.
Right.
We need more. We need a threat, a deep threat.
Right.
That somebody that can catch the ball 5 to 7 yards off the line of scrimmage and take it to distance.
Yeah.
AB is your man. They're outside of Diggs, Stephon Diggs.
Right.
Who else was in the market at the time that could have done that?
Not in the market.
Nobody.
Yeah.
It was just him and Diggs. That's it. And so it was like Tampa Bay knowing that they needed to win right now, ain't have no choice. There is not another team out there that's set up to win a Super Bowl that's one player away that's willing to take a chance on it.
That part I would agree with.
And even if you look at the Ravens don't have no receivers.
Yeah, they need that's what they need, somebody.
So if you bring AB in there, AB in that situation, in that offense, knowing that they're going to run the ball 40 to 50 times and only throw the ball 10 to 20 times, that's a recipe of disaster for AB. And I hate to say that because I'm like, AB is one of the best receivers of all time in my mind.
Right.
Because he'd get in your head. When he put his head down to play, he is nearly unstoppable. The boy can return punts. I mean, he's an athlete. Yeah. He's an athlete, so he can play. But his privileged mentality, that mentality of you need me, it's got him in a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ocho. Ocho started acting crazy.
Yeah.
I'm this team. I'm the reason why we win in this game. What happened to that man?
Yeah.
Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
All-star, monster.
Yeah.
I'm the reason why we winning.
Yeah.
Okay. You're all right.
But like I said, man, I think an additional factor in that whole equation is how NFL players are spoken to, how they're talked to by the staff and the other coaches. I think that's something that most players don't talk about, especially current players, because they trying to get that bag.
Right.
But I've heard some interviews on some retired players, retired black players, and they got a big FU for the NFL. And I think this is one of the reasons why. Is how they're spoken to, how they're treated when they get injured, and all that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, look, to me, the NFL has one rule: if you can help us win, you can play. For the most part, you can play. Now, the only one that broke that rule to me was Kaepernick. He went at their neck, and they was like, "We don't care if we can win."
Right.
We'll just out.
How good you
are.
It's out. We don't care if you're a Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah.
You out because you basically put a black eye
on the league,
on our brand.
Right. He spoke up about something relating to, like I said, the whole reason why a lot of retired players got nothing but a big FU for the NFL and stuff like that. He actually spoke toward that context, and it's what I said, that the NFL is racist as hell, and specifically, the owners and through the coaching, and it translates everywhere. It's obvious to anybody with a brain, in how they're handling and have been handling. You shouldn't have to have a Rooney Rule. You shouldn't have to do none of that. But it's been embedded. Is it getting any better? That's debatable. Because there's still, as of today, there's only one black head coach in the league. And the primary reason why, two reasons why he's there, is the team he's with, the Steelers, and that ownership. And second, he never had no losing season.
Right.
You get to drop a couple losing seasons and see what happens. So.
Right. And I'm be honest, I don't see it happening. I mean,
right.
Again, because you got a good franchise that sets themselves up for longevity.
Right.
I mean, and I think that's where, for me, when the Packers head coaching job came open, I was a little disappointed that they didn't promote, you know what I'm saying, one of their black assistant coaches.
Right.
I was disappointed that they didn't really even entertain black coaches, you know what I'm saying? But it is Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about the markets that some of these teams is in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I agree with you, man. I think it's a good point. I mean, I'm probably not, I'm not going to say that the NFL as a whole is racist. I'm just going to say the stronghold of ownership on the brand of the NFL and these teams is racist.
Okay, well, that's basically what I was saying. You just refined what I was saying. The ownership, is racist, and I go as far as saying a lot of the coaches are racist. A lot of the coaches.
I'm not going to speak on that one. Just for me, because there's a lot that goes into some of these franchises. There's like supporting positions that are chock full of, and I'm gonna say minorities. I'm not just gonna say black, because it's women in some of these front office positions that's doing, you know what I'm saying, player personnel development. You know, they making sure, you know, that teams have, you know, what they need. So for me, it's hard for me to look at a system like that and
as a whole. I get it. Like I said, you refined what I said, but what I'm saying is
you're right when it comes to these owners. Even Jerry Jones, and I'm gonna call him straight
absolutely.
out. You can't tell me that Jerry Jones ain't of the racist caliber.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me that Jerry Jones don't think worse than what the Clippers owner thought. What worse than what Richardson in Carolina thought. I mean, you can't tell me that, because Jerry Jones, one of the more rich, he's richer than most of the owners in the league.
Right.
He treats not only his players, but his coaches and all of the sporting cast as if they're his slaves.
Absolutely.
So I agree with the owner thing. But again, there are some owners out there that really don't think like that.
True. But they are the minority.
They don't speak up enough.
Yeah, they are the minority, and as most of us argue, not saying nothing, even though you may not be racist, not saying nothing, not arguing and fighting against, is just as bad. Actually, it's worse.
It's worse.
You know, because you're
condoning
it. You're
not affecting the change.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens with AB. We're gonna, I think he's gonna be on the field again.
And Europe.
It is what it is, man. If he can help somebody win, they're gonna snatch him.
Canada is what it is. I said Europe, but I meant Canada. He's gonna be playing in the CFL.
You know what? He wouldn't. I don't think he would mind. I mean, he won't be in the NFL, but as long as he in the spotlight somewhere, I think that makes his day.
Right.
So the whole how he left the field, I actually loved it. I was laughing my butt off, but yeah, on the flip side of that, it makes tomorrow worse.
Yeah. So. And I tell you, the last thing I'll say about it is I knew it as I was watching him throw his pads. I didn't even get to the point where he was doing the jumping jacks in the end zone.
Here we
go. As I watched him throwing his pads, I knew.
Here we go.
I said, man, this is gonna be the last time we see one of the most prolific receivers in the NFL ever play. And that's sad, because I knew he was gonna sit back and say, it's a situation, the reason why I did what I did, but I still want to play.
Well,
and it's like, man, you still want to play, but you out here putting yourself out there like you the only person that do what you do.
Right.
Like, that don't make no sense.
Well, here's the other thing that you just brought to my mind. Why is this, in general, this bad exit scenario, why is this what happens to majority of the top talents in the league? I think that question needs to be explored, because You know.
Oh, you want me to tell? I can tell you. We don't need to explore. I can tell you right at the gate.
Well, enlighten me, my brother.
You give CJ, who struggled as a child, watches his mom or his dad or his family struggle every day, fight that hunger in him, going through all the trials and tribulation, extra bullshit that you got to go through to jump through all these hoops to be this pristine type player, get out there and then you reach the peak. And I mean, I'm not saying just you make it to the NFL. I'm saying you reach the peak,
right,
where you're in the conversation of the greatest of all time.
Right.
You are getting paid like you're the greatest of all time. You win that Super Bowl. You hoist that Lombardi trophy. You don't really understand what it means to have that amount of money, that amount of influence, that amount of praise and attention. To me, it's gotta be, because I can't fathom it either. I'm gonna throw it out there. It's gotta be euphoric. It's gotta be. It's gotta put you into a mental, like it's gotta be mentally chaos. Because imagine how we are now as adults. Imagine the little things that we have that our parents didn't have. Imagine the things we have now as adults that we didn't have as children.
Right.
Compound that or multiply that by 1,000. And then when you think you understand it, multiply it by another 1,000. So you give this man, where he walks in anywhere, in almost any city, people want to shake his hand. They want to take pictures with him. They give him free stuff. Some of the most beautiful women in the world just throwing themselves at him. And you don't think that's going to mentally bother somebody? You don't think that's going to change who you are as an individual? If you don't, I think you're naive. You know what I'm saying? Like you put little AB from the hood and give him all of that with little to no guidance.
Right.
It is a situation where when you start to lose that, what do? You change, you start to do things to try and cling to it.
You start telling coaches, you better Google me.
Right. You start doing jumping jacks, throwing your pads at people. You start running in the middle of the field, in the middle of somebody's field. You start kneeling. You start thinking that you're bigger than what a multi-billion-dollar brand is. I mean, it puts you in situations, man, that makes you feel like you have more power than you do. So it's like imagine that, man. And I had a conversation, I can't remember who it was the other day. Imagine you coming from living check to check, and then one day somebody just drop $100 million off in your bank account or in a suitcase at your front door. How would you think mentally you would respond to that?
First, I'm gonna check the cameras. I'm looking around.
Make sure it ain't a trap.
It's a trap, man. That's the first thing. This is the trap of all traps right here. But yeah, the money gonna change it, especially if you're not, like you said, if you're not mentally mature enough. And who is?
And you don't have a support system around you,
right?
That will tell you no. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the players, it might have been Michael Strahan, but it might have been Shannon Sharp, that basically said that if you don't have a support system around you to tell you no and to tell you when you wrong,
right?
Having all that money, being able to go and do what you want to do, sets you up for failure, because you just don't know what to do with it. You ain't never had it before. You ain't got nobody around you that's ever done it before.
Right.
So it's a formula or a situation for failure.
To go bad. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna let that ride. We're gonna let that stand. You know, we're gonna let that stand, because I might not have done the skips and the little jumper jacks here and now, but I'd have done, I'm sure, with all that money, I'm gonna do something.
I mean, if I was in a situation like Marshawn Lynch, I feel like Marshawn Lynch
handled it real well.
Handled every situation where they tried to make him out to be something that he wasn't. They tried to make him. They tried to demonize him a couple times. Like even when they pushed him out of Buffalo.
Right.
You know, even when he retired the first time.
Right.
They tried to make it seem like he was arrogant and he didn't think about nobody but himself and all this stuff. But he quietly basically let people know who he was personally.
Right.
He was no nonsense. He wasn't there to try and make no friends with nobody. He was there to make a difference in his life, his family life, and his community's life.
Right.
And it's like he had people around him to tell him, ignore that situation. That don't define you. You know what I'm saying? Make the best of it and do what you need to do. That man, when he went on his sabbatical after he retired and he went to Africa and all that, man, he said he would have never imagined the world was as big as it was.
Oh yeah.
The NFL puts you in a box. America puts you in a box to make you feel like there's no other answer than what you deal with in your everyday life as an American.
Right.
But when you get outside of that mode of thinking, when you can kind of expand your thoughts, that puts you in a whole different like understanding. And that's even that in itself is hard for certain people. I mean, when you can't think in such a confined space, it's insanity.
Yeah, basically. So, AB, I hope to see you next year, brother.
Me too. I don't think it's gonna happen, but me too.
I want to see him actually fully healthy, because I think he can really still do some damage if he's really fully healthy with a good.
Hey man, you know who I am with this out here. I would cry. What if the Chiefs say, "Hey man, we gonna put you on a game by game"?
They can do it. They can do it.
They definitely can do it.
I mean, that's Madden.
Scary as shit.
That's Madden.
Scary as shit because they got the all Madden team.
That's Madden. That's guaranteed Super Bowl. That's what I was saying. Somebody gonna do it. Somebody, and you came up with the perfect example. If they did it,
Reed would be like, "Hey, it's our way or no way," because he took a chance on Terrell Owens,
right?
When everybody told him that he shouldn't have, and went to the Super Bowl and all that.
Right. He done took a chance on a few people. Actually, is it the Chiefs that brought your boy back, the old Cleveland wide receiver, big boy that had all the drug problems, but was fast as all get out
from Cleveland?
Yeah. Got thrown out the lead about 8 times for drug.
He couldn't say no to blood.
He just can't let it go. But he finally got himself together enough, and I think it was
Josh Gordon.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. So they taking chances on people before, and AB, the only chance is, are we gonna use him?
Oh man, the Chiefs released Josh Gordon 2 days ago.
You see what I'm saying? And especially with the defenses have adjusted to the quarterback now. What's his name? I can't think of his name. This is a sports show. I can't even think of homeboy's name. The Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. Defenses have adjusted to him. So
my homeboy,
yeah. He ain't just playing Madden out there with everybody now. It's a little harder because they know they like, okay, if we focus, if we double team the tight end, and if we double team the firecracker, what's his name? The little fast dude. I can't think of nobody.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. If we double team them two, you're gonna have to beat us with the other guys. You know. And that's why it was just the last game they played, KC played. Tyreek didn't do nothing till he caught that one catch. Pew! Go! It's like, okay, but previous years, he was doing that 3, 4, 5 times a game.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
mediocre quarterback.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If they added AB, and you got a tight end, and you got, man, come on, man. That's cheating beyond cheating.
Yeah.
And what defense? You ain't got enough. No defense has enough unless you go out and buy you a defensive backfield and basically get 3 or 4 of the so-called shutdown corners and safeties all in the same team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only response to that. Other than that, you're gonna get hit every game. You're gonna be turning around looking at smoke from somebody's shoes every game. So we'll see. That's a perfect spot.
Hey, man,
You
I
better
was
keep
sitting
that.
here thinking like, where would he go where a team would be willing to make
automatic,
take a chance on him because they would get him for dirt cheap and he'd make an impact.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you know, Andy Reid, he ain't got no quarrels with signing somebody for a couple days and then just getting rid of them.
Right. So, and plus, especially if the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl this year, watch out for that.
Oh, I think they're gonna win.
They should.
Who got a chance to beat them?
The Rams defense is pretty good. And my only question is their defense good enough to hold them, you know what I'm saying, under wraps? The only thing else I wish the Rams would have right now is a better, consistent running game. Because then they can keep the ball out of dude Mahomes' hands. Because if you can't keep the ball out of his hands, you in trouble.
Who gonna stop Matthew Stafford from throwing 3 to 4 picks? I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there.
But is Casey's D is Casey's D that tight, or do they pick?
Defense I'm not gonna say they better than the Rams, but KC's defense is right on par with the Rams.
Because we gotta remember, Stafford ain't throwing to no scrubs. He got Odell, he got Cup, he got some dogs.
Man, he got some dogs, but
he got the dogs that make you look good, that save you. He got them kind of dogs that make those catches that's supposed to be interceptions. Is all I'm saying. I think it'll be a good game.
I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think the Chiefs gonna win the Super Bowl.
And I would say the reason why
I ain't gonna be in town, or I was gonna do a Super Bowl party, but I ain't gonna be in town. But I do think if the Chiefs make it past the Bengals, because the Bengals defense by far is one of the better defenses that they're gonna play.
Okay.
So I think if they make it past the Bengals, because that's a trap game for them.
Right.
If they make it past the Bengals, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, because the Rams will beat the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers offense just ain't good enough to put up enough points to keep par with the Rams. So I think the Rams going to the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford finally jumps over that hurdle and he makes it to the Super Bowl. But then he falls right back in his Georgia roots. He gonna choke. He's definitely gonna choke. Come Super Bowl, we're gonna be looking at Patrick Mahomes, poised his second Super Bowl in 3 years.
It's possible. Like I said, I just wish the Rams had a better running game going into that game against the Chiefs.
I wish Matthew Stafford wouldn't take so many chances.
Well, he wouldn't if the Rams had a better, more consistent running game. That's my point.
I think because he knows he's got such a prolific receiving core.
Right.
He takes too many chances.
I agree. We agree on that.
Because he did the last 4 or 5 games of the season.
Yeah,
he threw more interceptions than he did touchdowns.
Right. And
the boy just
he done got too comfortable.
He got comfortable, especially when he got Odell.
Right. Yeah, he trying too much. So we'll see how it pan out. All these games are gonna be good games going forward, I think. And we'll see. But like I said, if KC for some reason don't win the Super Bowl, watch out for AB over KC. You called it. You done set it on the wall. Watch out.
Got it recorded, date timestamped.
You talking about? Oh my God, man!
Man, that's cheap, man. The league got to do something. The league got to do something. They can't let that happen.
I mean, and that's the other thing. The other teams that are still playing right now, pretty much, really, and the ones that played last week, You almost, if KC don't win the Super Bowl, and you one of these other teams, you almost have to try to grab AB just to keep AB from KC.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The best offense is a defense. So we'll see how it pan out. Like I said, that's why I think he's still gonna be on somebody's team next year called Problem.
I don't know, man. I mean, I hope so, but I don't think so. I hope so though.
All right, so let's move on. Okay, you brought this dude up. We've mentioned his name a couple times. QB from Houston, Mr. Deshaun Watson. There's a lot to unpack here with what's going on with him. Hit me with what you got on Deshaun Watson, what you think about everything that's going on with him, and we'll go from there.
I mean, I last I heard, man, is a lot of his accusers is being found out that they was lying. So the league gonna have to make a choice on him. You know what I'm saying? Specifically Houston. Last I heard was Houston looking to shop him, like his contract. I hope they do. I hope the young man gets a chance to play again. I mean, I hope he learned his lesson from it. You know what I'm saying? Again, I think he got caught in a situation where he felt like, because he's the man, he can do and say whatever he wants with no consequences. So I mean, I just hope he play again, and I wouldn't be mad at all if it was in Green Bay, because the man can play. He can play.
Okay. All right. I feel you on that. I agree with you. I don't think there's a team in the league that doesn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to pivot and go toward the gory, gutter details on this situation.
Mm-hmm.
First, I think the whole reason why this situation came about is a power struggle coming down from the ownership with him. You had mentioned about him saying whatever he wanted to say. Again, I don't have any factual evidence on this, but I believe some words were spoken back and forth. I believe at the very least he felt being Deshaun Watson was disrespected, so he fired back as a grown man. I can't say whether there's a racial element in here. My soul is saying yeah, but I can't say that. But that's one thing. And I believe what happened, I told somebody this a few days ago. Whatever was said, whatever the fallout was, the decision was made by the owner to say, okay, he's never going to play again. I'm going to shut him down or whatever. I'm going to ruin his career, whatever. Okay, fine. Well, somebody asked me, well, how they going to do that? I was like, it's very simple. When you have, this is all my opinion, y'all. This is for educational purposes. But when you have your top NFL stars making the amount of money, you paying them the amount of money that you are paying them, do y'all think for 1 minute, 1 second, that these owners don't have trackers as far as people, human beings, following their stars 24 hours, 7 days a week? That's the first point. So those trackers are documenting, in my opinion, everywhere they go, everything they do. All right? So then go to the next step. When this came down, owner calls the tracker, say, hey, what you got? He likes going to hook it up with these different masseuses, let's say that. And from what I understand, there's something there. So, to me, it's not outside the realm of possibilities that the owner, not directly, but They know how to do things indirectly. Put the word out, put the edict out, get a hold of them ladies that's done the massages. Let them know if something happened, there may be an opportunity here for them to get some compensation,
right,
for what they experienced.
Right, and let's not forget. I mean, right now it's only a civil case.
Right, exactly. I was getting ready to go there.
Right,
I was getting ready to go there because if it's not criminal, first off, what we talking about. But anyway, it not being criminal and not having been filed before this big fallout, wasn't no issue then. That's my point. There was no issue. None of these ladies went to the police and filed nothing. None of them had even filed any civil cases, to my knowledge.
Well, the 20 accusers basically are being represented by one lawyer in a civil case against him, basically allegedly Deshaun Watson was getting massages and sexually assaulted these women. Allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not, and if it's true, he wrong as hell for it. But there is an update today where Tony Busby, the attorney that's representing these 20 women, basically released a detailed disposition of what happened, and a couple of these ones, I think it's either a couple or I can't. I was trying to do a quick read on what happened, but it basically, a couple of these women pled the fifth and didn't want to incriminate herself in this civil case. The district attorney in Houston is still doing a criminal investigation to see if he's going to be brought up on criminal charges for sexual misconduct, but right now it is just a civil case, and it's messy. I mean, it's a lot messier than what I was originally intended or thought, because last I had heard was the things that started to unravel for his accusers. But right now, they basically getting ready to next month. They're going to disposition Deshaun Watson himself. And again, based on how that goes and how some of the other investigations going with the police and everything, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, because Deshaun could end up in prison.
Correct. There's a possibility of that.
It's a possibility for him to end up in prison, but it's also a possibility that he'd be exonerated. And if he like pleads out and does like some settlement or something, all this could still go away. So he could end up somewhere. I mean, because if these women really are just after money, and he just don't want to pay it, I mean, it's going to go to court, and a lot of stuff is going to come out. Now, I wanted to see if I could read this disposition that Busby Law Firm put out, but I can't see it. I'm pretty sure somebody's got it, but I can't see it. Rusty Watson, who is, or Rusty Harden, who's the attorney that's defending Watson, didn't want to comment. So that's either a good thing or a bad thing. But if there is criminal charges getting ready to come, it's a smart move by Rusty by not commenting.
Absolutely. Well, here's my thing as far as the reported victims and all that. First off, before I go there, as of today, now tomorrow things may change, but as of today, there's no criminal charges or anything like that. Mm-hmm. In my view, there's a reason for that, because the burden of proof is lesser in civil cases. The burden of proof is much harder in criminal cases. So, to me, that's been my mindset the whole time as to why there's not been any criminal charges brought, why none of these ladies brought any criminal charges before hooking up with this one attorney that's hired by the owner. I mean, this one attorney that's representing them all. Why they didn't pursue criminal charges before, which takes me down the road of the gory detail. I don't know if you have, but I actually here recently just listened to a couple of the ladies, a couple of the victims, as we understand at this time, and what they said happened. They got interviews literally on YouTube.
Right.
Where they break it down. I listened to them.
Yeah, because they basically said the FBI investigated one of the accusers for extortion.
Exactly. So, after listening to their whole story, now I didn't listen to all of them. I listened to like 2 or 3 of them. And, okay, my assumption is, I'm going to say, Deshaun Watson did everything they said he did when he was getting a massage from them. Okay? Let's just, I'll cut to the chase, cut all the, let's say he did everything. First question, why did the massage continue after the first inappropriate act or word? That's the question I have. Because if you're not, as a masseuse, if you're a professional and you coming into that situation, you know you're dealing with a popular or you know, a client, a high clientele client like that. Mm-hmm. If you are a professional, first thing you're going to do before the massage even starts is lay down the ground rules for your profession. Why? Because you know this masseuse game. You understand how this works, especially with high profile individuals. Some masseuses do all kind of extra stuff. Other ones are more professional and they don't. So the masseuse, each one of these ladies had an opportunity to make a choice of what they want to do. How they were going to operate as a masseuse. Are they going to be professional and say, don't try nothing, woo, say whatever you want to say, lay down the law before it even starts?
Right. So they basically saying that in the disposition that was released today, one of the questions that was asked, to your point, was these women knew that Watson had a fetish to go to a massage, to go get a massage, and then try to convince unsuspecting therapists to have sex with him. Like, that's one of the questions.
That's even beyond what I was saying.
Right.
I'm saying just a strange lady that don't know that.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, to your point though, is what they're saying or asking these women is, did you know?
Right.
Like, or you knew, because the woman that pled the fifth was the one that was coordinating these massages.
Oh, Lord.
That worked closely with the Texans organization.
Oh, what did I say from the beginning? Where
right,
this came from?
That's what I'm saying. Like, she pled the fifth and is basically standing back to the side behind the Fifth Amendment because she don't want to incriminate herself. And again, I'm sitting here trying to find that the like disposition because I wanted to read it,
right.
But I can't find it. I mean, I'm gonna find it. Watch, as soon as we get it, I'm gonna find it.
Well,
but yeah, I mean that's interesting, man. That's a good point.
My thing is,
I asked the question that you know, you would think that these women would talk. Are these different massage parlors or massage therapy, you know, places that he went to and was organized to go to? I mean, did these women not confide into somebody personally? I mean, I think there's a lot to be asked there that needs to come out, and the reason why there's a parallel criminal investigation going on, but there has not been any official criminal charges yet.
Right. I'm with all of everything you just said, but for me, the ball stops with the ladies. You're providing a professional service, and either you're gonna lay down your ground rules and respond as a professional the moment anything is said or done that's inappropriate. The massage is over. I'm out, dog. Get out, or I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that simple. It's really that simple. And if not, well then, by your actions, you may say, "Nah, I'm good," or stop playing or whatever. But by your actions, you're inviting him to continue or to try a little bit of whatever more. That's why you have to shut that stuff down. If that's you're being professional and ain't nothing else happening, shut it down. There's nothing stopping you from grabbing your bag and bouncing. But all these victims, none of them did that. Really? But yet now, and then after that, after all the gory details, they didn't walk out of the shop and go, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just glad to get out. I'm so scared. Let me go to the police." That didn't happen. "Oh man, this is terrible. I'm so scared. I don't know if I want to go to the police. Let me just go talk to an attorney. Let me file something. Let me sue him. Don't put me in no position like that." To my knowledge, that didn't happen. So now all of a sudden, when the owner and him get into it, "Oh, by the way, player, here you go. Great, put your dirty laundry out. Let's see how you handle this." So to me, it's real simple for me. That's an open and shut case of what's going on. And in fact, another reason, like you said, one of the witnesses pled the fifth. Why? Because a lot of these victims, if they actually testify, they're going to incriminate themselves. If he's asking for a professional to do certain things, rub certain places, and all of this kind of business, and you comply, you halfway comply, or whatever you want to call it, you're now participating in criminal activity, right?
Right.
So, that's why I said this ain't that detailed to me. This ain't that detailed to me. Now, is it possible for there to be a one or a couple of few of these victims that found themselves in this situation and they were so overwhelmed and just kind of in shock when things started to happen and be said that they kind of froze? Is that possible? Yeah. But again, after you got out of there, now what? Where's the report to the police? Where's the get an attorney and sue them? Or where's the action after that? So, they could miss me with with these issues. Right. The only good thing out of this, and I like to try to paint a silver lining around this. I would hope that he's got a little fan page or something somewhere where there's thousands of ladies signing their name up to give him his next massages that want to give him his next massage. Say, don't worry about nothing. I will sign the disclaimer. We're gonna do it all above board. What's up? So, but other than that, it's a bunch of BS to me. But that's just me. I'm a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have enough information to really speak on it. So, I mean, what I'm reading is it really sounds like there potentially was some inappropriate behavior. You know what I'm saying? There was some inappropriate action, but how inappropriate? You know what I'm saying? Was it appropriate enough with certain people? I mean, because there's information around certain individuals, but not all of them. I mean, there could have been potential where it escalated. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's 22 individuals actually in total right now that came forward. Some of them has been found that they were false accusations, but not all of them. There are 10 individuals who actually have went and filed a formal complaint with Houston Police Department, and they're being investigated. So, I mean, until all the facts come out, I really, you know what I'm saying, don't really want to speak to it, but I think it really could have been a situation where, again, young superstar, felt like he was untouchable. The Houston Texans situation put him in a position where he did feel like he was untouchable. He did feel like he could do what he wanted to do, because the first couple may have been swept under the rug, may have been paid off just not to say nothing. But then it was like, well, if they paid them couple off, they're gonna pay everyone off that I deal with. So it's like I think it was a case of escalation. You know what I'm saying? It's probably started out where it was a little bit of fondling, you know what I'm saying? And then it got worse over time. Some of the people that have not come forward know that he probably offered them a couple $1,000 and they got their rocks off and got paid. Some of these folks, after all of that, was probably like, no, I don't want to do this, and he kind of forced them. Who knows? I mean, hopefully more details come out. Hopefully more concrete evidence in his favor or not comes out to make it a clear, you know what I'm saying, decision on the situation. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I thought, again, based on information from last year, this was kind of falling apart, and it was just going to be a case of false accusations. But, you know, here quickly reading through quite a few of the news outlets and reports about the updates that came today, really is like they are pressing forward. It's like they have information and evidence to show that he actually did have some type of misconduct. Whether it escalates to the level past civil, that's not clear. I mean, as of right now, you would think that if there was something that was a criminal, criminally negligent for them to prove, that would have happened by now. Right. I mean, with so many accusers, right now it's still in the civil case. So I think the civil case really is, like you said, they got more leeway. They don't have as much to prove. They can basically just go off of people's word, and his character is being assassinated right now. So,
right. So we'll see. I think it's a bunch of hogwash. I think he did everything they said he did. And probably a little bit more. I don't put it past him.
I bet most of them got paid.
Of course. Especially
some of them probably didn't even think they should have got paid.
Especially the other 40 that came out against him.
Right. Because ain't no way you can't tell me it was only 22.
No.
As much as you read through this and you see that he enjoyed it. It was probably a regular thing.
Of course. So.
And some of those massage parlors probably know that he ain't the only one, and that's how they get paid.
Of course, man. This a lot of high-profile dudes. What was it? Not too long ago, the owner of the Patriots got caught up in the same situation. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So, but the owner of the Patriots was in a situation with another man. Like,
wait, we might be talking about two different. Was it a masseuse man?
I think so.
Well, I'll put it this way. The situation I'm referring to is they caught him in a massage situation, and the police got involved, and he ended up paying off the person. And the charges either didn't get placed or they got dropped.
Oh no, it wasn't him. I'm thinking of that senator. You're right.
Okay.
It was the Robert Kraft.
Yeah, it was Kraft. And people don't think about that right now. People don't think about it. But that was just a few years ago. So my point is, in bringing his name up, is a large percentage of high profile, especially in the sports world, the athletes and owners and all that, there's a culture.
Right.
It's a thing. And you either okay with the thing or you not okay with the thing.
Right.
You don't have to be. If they start to try to get the thing to start happening, I'm good, man. No. All right, I'm out. Where my bag at? I'm gone. Or you got to go. Walk out the room, whatever.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the same thing with some of these high profile female, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
And them going into some of these massage parlors with both men and women. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's taboo for a man to report that he's been raped. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
taboo for a man to report that he's been sexually assaulted.
Right.
So I think I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well. I mean,
Of course
just
it
don't come
does.
forward, so.
Of course it does.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think it's BS. I think he did everything they said he did and more. But for me, the onus goes on the victims as to report it, file press charges, whatever you got to do. You got to do that. If you don't do that, there's nothing else that anybody can do for you. Right. And then to do it when it's convenient in a situation, you still could do it, but that's crazy.
Or like in some of R. Kelly's situation, you've been getting paid for years because of what you did, and then when he run out of money and can't pay you, you wanna start you wanna report him in.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So we'll see how it work out.
Mr. Rooter Plumbing, we give you options.
What was that?
You can choose.
Is that on your end?
You know what that is?
That's great.
Yeah, that's you. All right. That's that. The Henny kicking in? Anyway.
Nah, I ain't know what that was, man. That was one of them ads, man.
Oh, Lord. All right, so we're going to move on from watching. Hopefully he come on to the Pittsburgh and we can put all this behind us.
He said Pittsburgh. Man, don't you speak that ill on us.
Come on to the Steelers, man. We can put all this behind us. I mean, we already done had one rapist, so it ain't no big thing. Come on to us, man. We can handle it.
At least you admitted it. It's on record.
Come on, get us some Super Bowls. I told you, watch your back. I told you, watch your back. I didn't need no extra put on there. Watch your back.
You said Watson should have just went ahead and paid him.
No.
That's what Roethlisberger did.
Hey, that's what he did. Meaning Roethlisberger. I'm with Watson. I ain't paying nothing. If I ain't already paid, I ain't paying nothing.
Man,
it is what it is.
And pay them women so he can keep playing and be a first ballot Hall of Famer, like you said.
Yeah, I get it. But
because had Roethlisberger took that to court, man, he'd be getting drugged through the mud too.
Of course. Now, same thing with this. If they come out and the word is that they about to file criminal charges, he gonna pay them off. Just to shut that down.
If the criminal charges go forward, regardless of him paying them off or not, he's going to jail.
I didn't say if they go forward. I said if the word and the vibe is that they might be coming, that's when the payoff happens. Until then, bump y'all. Prove it. Do something.
Because I think Busby's move of releasing those dispositions is a desperate move.
Of course.
I think that's him trying to drum up public support.
Of course.
Because they know that the more the police investigate it, they finding that a lot of this stuff is consensual. Because like the one lady came out and basically said it was consensual.
Yep.
I mean, she knew she was finna get a huge tip.
Yep.
So she slept with him.
Yep.
But before they started digging into her story, she was screaming sexual abuse too.
Right.
So I mean, I don't want to make it seem like I'm taking a side. It's like listening and reading through what's being said about the accusers and actually what happened. Or the little information coming out, it just seemed like another case of extortion.
I'm on the lady side. He nasty, okay? But a lot of dudes are.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It is what it is. So I agree. I believe everything they say. I believe they being nice. Okay, but then what did you do? That's my only question. So we'll see how it plays out. Come on over to Pittsburgh, man. Come over to Heinz Stadium, and we can handle it. We handled it before. We did it before, and we can do it again. We be all right. So we're gonna move on off of Watson. Real quick, I was wanting to see. You got any thoughts on your homeboy Westbrook and the problems they got in there, or you too depressed to talk about it? No,
I mean, I said it before, I'll say it again. Instead of Westbrook, they should have went after Dame.
But Dame didn't want to leave, so they couldn't get Dame. So they got Westbrook now.
Because at the end of the season last year, Dame basically came out on social media and told Bron, make it happen.
Ooh.
But Bron made it happen, all right. He went and got Westbrook. Because Westbrook Mr. Triple-Double.
Yeah.
He is Mr. Triple-Double.
He gonna do everything. I ain't got to play his hard.
Everything. So when you think about what Bron was trying to accomplish, Bron wanted somebody to take the pressure off.
Right.
And he thought Westbrook was the answer. But I'm telling you, man, Dame was the answer. Dame would have took the pressure off him because Dame would have deferred when he needed to defer, and he would have scored and took over when he needed to score and take over. Westbrook don't have another gear like other than go.
Yeah. Anybody would have been better than Westbrook. Anybody else in the league. Because Westbrook, he just needs to be on a team that ain't really got nobody else. Where he just
I think Westbrook needs to be on a team where he can be the two. When you put Westbrook in a situation where he has to be the one, he can't thrive. He cannot thrive.
Yeah. So basically, we saying the same thing. He can be the shooter, the scorer.
Let him be the shooter. Yeah. Let him be the scorer. If you get somebody, you put Westbrook with a halfway decent point guard. I'm gonna throw this out here. Trade Westbrook to Charlotte right now. Let him play with the ball boy.
Man, why you trying to mess up Charlotte like that, man?
No, Charlotte won't be messed up. Charlotte will be. They will thrive.
The only one that I would say you could do that for is what's your boy, the little brother from Louisville, out of Louisville. That's on Charlotte squad. He pretty much plays point and the two. Oh, what is his name? I shouldn't even brought it up. Can't think of it. I don't know. How am I doing a sports show? I can't think of these people's names. It'll come to me eventually. But it's a brother on Charlotte. He's their like starter point/2 guy. He's real short. He can ball, but if Charlotte replaced him for Westbrook, fine. But don't touch nobody else on Charlotte.
Don't touch nobody else. That's what I'm saying. Like you put him in that system with a point guard that can bring the ball up and let you move and score when you need to move. Westbrook it'd be a whole different conversation with him. But right now, what the Lakers expect Westbrook to do is to run the point.
Right.
They expect him to run the point and defer when he need to, but then ball when he don't need to. That don't make no sense. That's backwards.
True.
He need to be thinking pass first every time he's up the court. If he's playing a one, he don't think like that. He's not built like that. He wasn't built like that when he played at UCLA.
Right.
So why would you think he finna come in here because he got LeBron and AD? Why you think he gonna just change?
Right.
Even if he said, "Oh yeah, I changed because I'm playing with the king," that's a lie. That's a lie. Ain't no way. And a lot of people don't give Westbrook his flowers. You know what I'm saying? They don't give him his just dues because he is still Mr. Triple-Double. Even if he has dang near double turnovers, he's still Mr. Triple-Double. He still puts up numbers. Rebounds, points, and assists. And quiet as kept, you play against the wrong team, he gonna have dang near double-digit steals.
Right.
Because he's scrappy, he all over the court.
Right.
But when you got a team like the Lakers with LeBron, that's not what you need at point.
Right.
What you need at point is somebody that's gonna distribute. You know what I'm saying? 15, 20 assists a game.
Right.
You know, 8, 9 points a game, maybe 5 steals, you know, and that's asking a lot in the league to get 5 steals. But you need a point guard that's going to play defense and distribute. Now, I'm going to throw a name out there, and I'm going to throw his name out there just because I don't like him, but he the type of player that the Lakers need is Mario Chalmers.
Okay.
He like that old man coach that's on the court, like Derek Fisher used to be. I'm gonna be a general on the court. I'm not looking to score, but I can.
But the problem with that is they want somebody to score too.
Right, that's the problem because they want it too. but they
Right.
won't go after a 2. They need a 2. They didn't need a 1. They needed a 2. So you put Dame in that situation.
Right.
Dame can slide over to the 2 when you got somebody else that can bring the ball up. Like when Brian bring the ball up court.
Right.
You got Dame who can slide over to the 2 and respect that and can still score.
Right.
Westbrook not finna slide to the 2 and respect that. Westbrook begging and even throwing tantrums when Brian don't give him the ball.
Of course. I thought a dude's name from Charlotte, Terry Rozier.
Mm-hmm.
That was the guy I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
That could be for Charlotte. That could be an equal shot swap.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's not a good deal for the Lakers, but just player to player, that would work for Charlotte. That wouldn't destroy Charlotte.
It wouldn't destroy Charlotte, and it wouldn't really hurt or help the Lakers.
Exactly.
Either. So that's why I was saying you throw him over to Charlotte, that instantly makes people respect Westbrook's position again. Right now, with him being with the Lakers, it's more of the same. It's like they downsliding and down talking his career, like he ain't one of the best point guards to ever play the game. He's one of the most savage point guards to play the game because he wouldn't give a damn what center is in the middle. He's trying to dunk on them. He don't care what point guard or 2 that's across from him that he's got a guard. He's still gonna get a couple steals off of them.
Right.
So Westbrook is still one of the best players in the league, but it's the way that he affects the culture and the team chemistry of the starters on the team that he plays with, like the Lakers. The Lakers is in a situation where they're not really a top team in the West because of the way that Westbrook hurts their chemistry.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna give you a name. I heard a name earlier today that was thrown out. Just player for player, not money, not contracts and all that, but player for player. That is a player that I think would make the Lakers basically win a championship this year. That I've heard mentioned by the speculators.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Ross.
Hmm.
The boy can score. The boy threes, scoring, but without all the turnovers and all the other Russell Westbrook drama. Let that sit on your spirit for a while and think on that, because of course,
From the Orlando Magic.
yeah, Terrence Ross.
And you say
Crazy.
what he bring to the table?
Threes, scoring, driving to the basket. It's not the point guard thing, but he would fulfill the role that they wanted that they got Russ to fulfill. He would literally fill that role, and he would do everything that Russ is not doing.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. This man's only shooting 30% from 3-point line.
Okay. Okay.
Field goal percentage 40%.
Okay.
2.8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a half a steal.
Right. I didn't say he's a point guard. I said
No.
he would fill the role.
What you
that
said
Russ
is
played.
he can fill the role of what the Lakers need.
What the Lakers wanted to get from Russ. And that's somebody that is capable of dominating offensively, especially when LeBron's not in it. Terrence Ross. That's all I'm saying. Y'all, you can disagree, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all can disagree.
I won't disagree. I'm trying to get your angle here. Like
you may not have seen
what's the intended purpose of that, you know what I'm saying, statement is what I just
said. He would provide the offense that Westbrook is not providing. Basically, the consistent offense without the turnover. Terrence Ross does that. There's a lot of people in the league that does it, but as far as potential people that potentially would be available, Terrence Ross does that. That's all I'm saying. So, like I said, I've seen that juice. I've watched that dude play. He plays similar to your boy out of Chicago, the killer, the dunk champion out of Chicago.
Derrick Rose?
No, the dunk champion. The light-skinned brother.
Dang, I know who you're talking about. They was talking about him earlier on Twitter, saying that he would beat out Vince Carter for the greatest dunker of all time.
It would be close, but no.
Dang, what's dude's name?
Ain't no blasphemy on One Brothas Mind allowed. I told you to watch your back already.
Oh man, what's dude's name?
I'll get here in just a second. You talking about
I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name. Man, you know who I think. Man, I can't go past it, man. I think the Lakers should have went after Dame, man.
talking about Zach LaVine.
Yeah, him. Yeah.
Terrence Ross.
Man, they was on Twitter going in earlier, man. Today is January 28th, 2022. And they was on Twitter going in saying that Zach LaVine would beat Vince in a dunk contest. Dunk for dunk, pound for pound. They were saying that he would beat him.
Look, all the people on there smoking some real for real weed. Okay?
They was basically calling us old that we couldn't let go of the fact that Zach had more complex and exciting dunks than Vince. I don't think I really ever seen it.
There's only
that Zach does is modifications of what Vince brought to the table.
Right. There's only one half man, half a man. That's it. Period. Zach is good. Zach is a good knockoff. Zach is a great knockoff. Let me say that. He's a great knockoff Vince Carter. Okay? Are y'all happy?
Man, did you know they got Luka as a point guard?
Yeah, he walks the ball up most of the time like LeBron.
Right, but how big is he? Man,
He's about 6'8", 6'9", somewhere around there. Big boy.
Oh, he only 6'7".
Okay, 6'8", 6'7", with your number. He's big. It doesn't matter. He got the ball in his hand. I'm coming down.
He playing Dallas, so I don't, he playing Dallas, so I don't.
All right, but
I hear his name all the time, but I don't be paying attention to him like that.
Now, I will say this.
They as far as point guards in the league, they got Trae Young ranked as the number 1 point guard in the league.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
From an efficiency perspective, he's the number 1 point guard.
There we go with all the analytics. We might be able to get into that here in a minute as far as the NBA with the analytics. But as far as the Lakers, if all of them are healthy with Westbrook in the playoffs and they're 100% healthy throughout the playoffs, they still got a shot to win. Just based on experience and talent and all that, and including Westbrook's turnovers and foolery.
Who?
The Lakers.
Absolutely. We got Bron and AD.
Exactly. They got a shot to win it all. But they all have to be healthy. 100% healthy. So, all right. With that said, we done fixed the Lakers, so let's try to see. Yeah. So the next topic is what's wrong with the NBA.
What you mean? What's wrong with the NBA?
It's jacked up. That's what I mean.
What's wrong with the NBA is that the NBA always puts their eggs in one basket.
What you mean by that?
They always pick the perennial, number 1 player, and they throw all their marketing into it. They throw everything around it. So now that Bron is on a mediocre team, and yeah, I'm saying it, Bron is their focus. Now that Bron is their focus and he's on a mediocre team, they really don't have nowhere else to go.
What about?
They're trying to bring Steph back into the conversation. They're trying to bring the Warriors back in the conversation. But a lot of people ain't paying attention to that because they're so focused on the controversy and what the NBA has highlighted, which is LeBron and the Lakers.
What about Antetokounmpo?
Who?
Antetokounmpo. Milwaukee.
The Greek freak?
Yeah.
Small market. That don't equate to money. That don't equate to business value for the NBA. That's why. Look. I'm gonna say another name. Ja. J.A. Morant. Memphis. Small market. He's not the focus. I keep going down this list, and I'm looking at this list right now. Trae Young in Atlanta. Exciting, really exciting player to watch.
Small market.
Well, it's not really a small market, but
they don't support the team.
They don't support the team. Luka in Dallas, that ship sailed. They not really looking at Luka no more. It's like Luka he's a good thing about the NBA, but they don't focus on him. Again, Steph, I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm gonna say a name that you're not even gonna think about, but DeJounte Murray. Woo! San Antonio. See, look. Young boy.
What the who are you talking about?
Man, he's a bull. He is a boss. The boy can play flat out. He in San Antonio, small market, no name player. Chris Paul, Phoenix. Quiet as kept. They still got the best record in the league, right?
Right.
Nope. Small market. Nobody gives a damn.
So
I keep going. You want me to keep going? I keep going.
So how do you fix that problem that you brought up?
The NBA need to take the same approach as the NFL.
And that is?
It's not about a single player. It's not about a major franchise. It's about a position. The league is positional. And right now, the NBA goes as the point guard position goes. So they need to be highlighting the way these point guards is playing. Just like when Shaq was playing, the NBA went as a center went. As that power forward position went. They were highlighting, but what the NBA did was they said, you know what? LeBron James has the highest jersey sales in the world. LeBron James' name in the media gets more tags, more likes, more views than any other player in the league and any other franchise in the league. Poor marketing into that boy. Tell me one marketing thing that you have ever listened to, watched, or read that don't mention LeBron, that don't have a comparison to LeBron in the last 5 years.
Facts.
Hell, I'll make it even more simpler. In the last year.
Facts.
The Lakers got put out of the playoffs, and throughout the entire playoffs, every goddamn marketing, every TV broadcast, every sports commentator still compared every team to LeBron James and the Lakers. Do you think that's on accident?
Facts.
Those are talking points that have been given to these people from their leadership that have a seat at the table with the NBA owners. That's on purpose. They are literally pushing all of their marketing through a single player. Good, bad, and different. It's all about LeBron.
I agree.
It's all about the Lakers right now. And the Lakers ain't even one of the top teams.
I agree. Now let me tell you.
They need to get away from that. They need to start highlighting these young bulls, because I'm telling you, man, quiet as kept, Drew Holiday in Milwaukee is one of the best goddamn point guards in the league right now.
Right.
And for a while there, Drew wasn't even being mentioned. He was in the conversation for sixth man.
Right.
And this young man is a baller. I'm gonna throw this name out here, and I said it earlier. Charlotte. LaMelo Ball
Killer.
Balling. The boy makes watching the NBA, it looks good again. Like, you can watch him, even if Charlotte loses, so what? He playing. He's an all-out type player. He plays defense. He can do the flashy ball. He can do the lockdown. You know what I'm saying? Old school, heavy, like let's get into each other's body type basketball. As a point guard, that is rare in today's basketball.
Right.
I mean, you can't really say that about any other position. I mean, you look at the shooting guard position, outside of Devin Booker and James Harden, who else could you name from that two position that's even worth having a conversation about?
Zach LaVine.
Duncan. What else do he do?
He dropped threes.
Man, listen. Do he actually play some ball, though? Is he playing defense? Is he making basketball?
He don't play no defense like that.
James Harden, what do he do?
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, what does he do?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it, even though I said Devin Booker. What does Devin Booker do?
They don't really play defense. They
So
try
none
to,
of these motherfuckers I'm naming play defense.
cause they regular season, which is again that's what you're expressing. What's wrong with the NBA? In the regular season, they I think they told not to play defense. They try to start playing a little bit in the playoffs.
But the point guards play defense though.
Yeah.
The power forwards play defense. The centers don't because they know they're gonna foul out.
Right.
But I'm gonna go further. Let's look at the small forward position. Let's look at it position by position. Now we just named and talked about the point guards for a minute. There's every reason to continue and talk about the point guard position because the top 20 point guards in the NBA all are ballers.
Right.
And when I say ballers, I mean all the way around. You go to the shooting guards, there is a steep and drastic drop off. They're mostly scorers. When you go to the shooting guard, they're mostly scorers. They really don't play defense, or if they play defense, they're not scorers.
True.
You go to the small forward position. Now, this is where LeBron James has made his money and made his legacy as a shooting guard or as a small forward. Name another small forward, and I'm going to be rude in this situation because I'm taking Jimmy Butler and what's the other boy name? I'm just gonna take Jimmy Butler out. You can't bring Jimmy Butler into the conversation because we know Jimmy Butler a dog. He's all the way around player. He can do everything and anything he wants to on the court, and the only person that can stop him is Brotha. Name somebody else from the small forward position that's gonna stand out like LeBron. That's gonna be an all-around player, first team defense, first team offense, all of that.
Well, I can think of two. Now, then I'm not saying them because I'm fans of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't kill me on that. But what about PG and Kawhi? Paul George and Kawhi.
Paul George is a shooting guard.
That's where they play him at.
and if I'm not mistaken, I think Kawhi. I think they got Kawhi as a power forward.
That was the first two that came to my mind. The problem is, you're right. If you're looking at people who play defense,
no,
yeah.
I'm not saying defense. I'm saying all the way around. One player that you're not mentioning that you probably just thinking because Zach LaVine is like clogging.
The other dude from San Antonio, DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, but he don't really play defense too. Yeah, I know.
He in Chicago.
I know, but he don't play defense either.
DeRozan a beast. He's a small forward.
But he don't play defense either.
He's a beast, man. If he needs to play defense, he will.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the difference. Outside of that, the only other player that you didn't mention, but it's probably just again because you got your mind clogged right now, is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a monster.
Yes.
But
hey, Brown is pretty bad, but he's not a guard.
Jason Tatum is being overshadowed by Jaylen Brown.
Right.
That's his problem because Jason Tatum not getting his flowers no more because Brown came into the conversation.
Right.
Now continuing with the theme, power forward, outside of the Greek Freak and Kevin Durant, because I'm taking Kevin Durant from you.
Okay.
Of the power forwards, who else can you say is just overall impactful and a dog, offensive and defensive?
Ooh, power forward.
And remember, I already said Kevin Durant and the Greek Freak, Giannis.
I'm gonna have to think on that for a minute. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's the problem. And that's what I'm saying is the league made the mistake of saying this is Bron's league. This is Bron's time. We need to focus all our eggs in this basket. And if we have to talk about somebody else, let's talk about Steph Curry or Kevin Durant. But the teams they play for, we're not going to mention them. We're not going to market them. When you see an NBA ad, you're going to see Bron first, middle, and last. You're going to see the Lakers, colors, and everything. Like, it's a marketing scheme. And a lot of people really not feeling it. Like the leagues, I'd be willing to bet, and I didn't check this number. I probably could check it real quick, but I ain't check it. I'd be willing to bet that the NBA's like viewer ratings are lower than they have ever been.
I would agree.
Because again, people don't care about a 500 team. People don't care about what LeBron's bringing to the table because he's not helping his team win. Now, I will remind you though, my GOAT is Kobe Bryant. Kobe went through about 2-3 years of what Bron going through right now.
Right, bad team.
And they demonized him. They basically put the Lakers on a back burner. They didn't want to talk about Kobe unless they was talking bad about him. They were talking about San Antonio. They were talking about the Golden State Warriors. They were talking about whatever team Durant was on. I mean, they were talking about wherever LeBron was at, but they talked about multiple teams, multiple players. They're not doing that right now. They're missing an opportunity to be able to say, let's highlight our league from a point guard position. Let's talk about what these point guards are doing. You legit have Atlanta, Memphis, Dallas, Golden State, San Antonio, Phoenix. I'm going to say it, Charlotte. I'm scared to say it. And I'm going to skip over this next one because I don't think anybody cares about them, but I'm going to go right back to Milwaukee. And then I'm going to throw the Pacers in there because Brogdon with the Pacers is balling. Even though he's missing a couple games due to injury and other things, he balls. The boy can play. The point guard position in the NBA is at one of the all-time highs of what it has ever been because they're for the longest time it's been about forwards. And now the point guards have come back in. Now most of these point guards are big boys. I mean, technically some of them could be twos, but they're ones. They're officially classified as ones, and they're balling. But the NBA is missing an opportunity. Like they have conversations about how Ja went to Dallas and pissed Luka off and outplayed Luka. You know what I'm saying? They have conversations about how Ja went to Utah. You know what I'm saying? And outplayed them boys in Utah. Like, come on now, man. You got an opportunity. Even though these are small markets, these small markets are showing and playing some good ball.
Right.
But they not doing it. I mean, I left the center position out, even though Jokic or whatever his name is in Denver is even in the conversation for MVP right now. I mean, the center position not bad either.
No, it's not.
But if I had to put them in rankings, again, point guards number one. I'm saying centers number two. Then I'm gonna go to small forwards, put Bron and them there. And power forwards number 4, and then shooting guard is absolutely number 5. Don't nobody care about the shooting guards right now because they trash.
I think also what happened is, like you mentioned earlier briefly, a lot of the point guards are big boys. I think they took the best shooting guard and over time they've developed and morphed them into shooting guards / point guards.
Right.
So I think that's what's happened there. Now, let me. I agree with you on everything you just said. Let me tell you what's really wrong with the NBA.
Okay, I'm listening.
And it's not the 3-point shot.
Oh no.
But that's where the problem starts. The 3-point shot is great. I love it. I enjoy it. Do your thing. Curry, Clay, all that. Y'all do your thing. But what's wrong with the NBA is they've let the bean counters, the analytic fools, get in and play math and say, well, because of the 3-point shot, everybody just got to take threes now. That's boring as hell to watch.
Right, to watch Embiid shooting threes.
It's just absolutely boring as hell. Nobody watched the NBA throughout the NBA's history to watch people shooting from 23 to 30 feet.
Karl Anthony Towns shooting
right.
threes.
It's cool. I'm saying do it. Have it in there. But don't run the teams in the way or in the fashion where, okay, everybody just come down and go to a spot and stand and rate to shoot a 3. That's literally how most teams are playing now. Maybe they got a center, a few of them, that'll come in and sniff around the paint a little bit. Or they're so dominant they can actually cause problems and dominate a game from the paint. There's a handful of those.
Right.
But that's all you got in the NBA. Watching the NBA, in my opinion, right now is like watching a tennis match. Just swing your head back and forth. They ain't doing nothing but running down the east side, jacking up threes. And most of them are missing. It's jacking up threes. Oh, missed it. Dang, missed that one. Okay, your turn. Jacking up threes. That's boring as hell to watch. Now, when you go and watch a highlight of an NBA game, is it somebody shooting threes, or is it somebody going to the hole and yoking it on somebody's head? That's where the bread and butter is. The paint game.
Right.
The paint. You got to go to the hole. You got to dunk. So, I could be on my soapbox on this for long. This is my fix, or one fix for the NBA. Keep the three. All right, fine. Fire all the analytic dudes. Get rid of them dudes. Get rid of them dudes. They'll mess up the Garden of Eden if they just sit there and do it by the numbers. Get rid of them dudes.
And I agree with that. I agree with that because that's a point. There comes a point or a pivot point where we're exposing too many data points or elements becomes counterproductive.
Yes.
And I think that's what's happening with the league is that they looking at all this market data and research, which is it's like looking at the crypto market, thinking that you know what's going to happen next.
Right. Exactly.
You can't. Yeah, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money.
Exactly.
And I think, where we had that conversation, a couple years back with the whole Kaepernick thing with the NFL, where the NFL lost a ton of ratings and a lot of people wasn't watching and viewership went down and all this other stuff. That wasn't necessarily because of Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. It was because the NFL tried to take the same stance as the NBA. And every time that the marketing material came out from them, it was always about the team that was winning. Like it was always about the person or the team that they numbers showed had the most sales or the most views over the last couple of weeks. And it wasn't really about the brand. It wasn't really about, what the dynamics of the league was. And I feel like that's what the NBA, the NBA had success with that.
Right.
But the market has changed, and I don't think the NBA has changed with the market because right now people don't really care about a single individual player, and LeBron has worked himself again into the political light to the point where the mass majority of people that really did support the NBA are starting to say that they don't care, they don't want to hear LeBron's political opinion, they want to just watch him play, and the positions that he's taken politically is alienate or ostracizing his brand. Right. And it's like that the NBA is not listening or paying attention to that because even though that's happening from a viewership perspective, the likeness of LeBron, the people and how they favor or migrate to him in like jersey sales and all the other like accessories and stuff hasn't changed. But people not really watching the NBA because they too political. They don't want to watch that bullshit. Right.
So here's how you fix this. Or one of the elements, and I think it's the primary element to fix the NBA as we see it today. Y'all may say I'm crazy, and that's fine. I don't care. You got to change the rule and make all dunk shots worth 3 points. Why?
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Every dunk is now worth 3 points. If you successfully dunk the ball, it's worth 3 points. Just like a 3-pointer. Just like shooting a 3-pointer. Do you know, man, the NBA has some of the greatest athletes in the world. And they
By
all,
whose standards?
by the NBA standards. Let's put it that way. And they all, because of the bean counters, they're all being forced and told to stand around the 3-point line. Go to a spot. So you're not seeing any of the athleticism that's been the staple throughout NBA's history. You'll get a flash every now and then. And when it's a flash, oh, that's huge. That's a big highlight. Why? Because that's what everybody wants to see. It's cool now if somebody shoot 23s in the game. Yeah, that's fire. That was crazy, But that type of feat rarely happens. It's to go to the hole, man against man, boom! Gotcha. Don't come back in here with that no more. That's what everybody wants. And you make it worth 3 points, just like the 3-pointer, to force the teams to actually, their guys to actually try to defend the dunks, which is exactly what everybody wants to see. Right? Whether you get your head busted or not, some of them gonna get blocked, some people gonna get destroyed. That's what the NBA needs. That's what brings the excitement and everything back to the NBA. You got people in the other small piece to this. I'd say they need to either remove or expand. What's the little lines in the paint? The box in the paint.
Yeah.
That you can't.
Is it the charge zone or something?
Yeah,
like
that they need to either get rid of that completely, or move it way out more. Why? Because you got the athletes that basically most of them can jump from the free throw line and yoke it on you.
Right.
That's what we want to see.
I think the dynamics of the game definitely needs to change. I mean, because when you got players migrating to shoot that like you said, that 3-ball, I think it needs to be addressed. I mean, everybody's focusing so much on, trying to shoot that 3 that it is kind of taken away from the game. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why they added the 3-point line, because there were so many players that gained the ability to dunk and had like an unfair advantage. So it's like they added that 3-ball to kind of equalize that and add more value to those long range shooters.
And
so
that's
like,
great.
What do you do differently to kind of pull that balance back? Because Steph kind of really took advantage of it and changed the game. Just in general. So it's like they really need to kind of focus on how do they address that.
And to me, the way you address it is you turn and make all dunks 3-point, worth 3 points. That brings, because the whole point you just said, when they emphasize the 3 in the NBA, it brought balance. They to me, the NBA always has to be looking to maintain balance. And the only thing now that everybody's standing out there shooting 3, now you're gonna open up the whole floor. Turn Vince Carter loose from the 3-point line. Turn him loose in his prime. Give him the ball and say go.
Shit, Vince, Tracy McGrady.
That's where I was going next. Tracy, Kobe, go down the list. Turn them loose from the 3-point line. 1-on-1. That's basically what you're playing is 1-on-1.
Yeah.
The amazing things you're going to see.
I think what the NBA should do is instead of adding a point to the dunkers, take a point away from the 3. Like, get rid of the 3-point line.
Either way. I ain't mad at the 3 because I like to see when somebody get hot.
I mean, because my thing is if you're going to shoot them 3s, shoot them. Just you're not finna get 3 points for them. The ultimate equalizer is make it even.
Right. We basically saying the same thing.
Right.
Either way.
Right, because I mean, you add the extra point it's just gonna make the
Makes it
scores
easy.
go past what they're
Right.
going now. I mean, because
Exactly.
you see scores easy now making it to 140, 150,
Right.
which historically has been unheard of. I mean, that's almost like ain't nobody playing no defense.
So that's my fix for the NBA. Because right now, it's boring as hell. It's like watching a tennis match, and it's not, unless they make a change to balance it out. To me, it's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. That's just my little 2 cents on that one. We're going to move forward. Unless you, I know we are taking up a lot of your time, and just say, hey, when it's your time to bounce. But outside of that, we're gonna move forward. We done fixed the NBA. We done trashed Westbrook. We done fixed the sports world for the most part. Somebody slap AB. But next, we're gonna talk about this HBCU situation, especially the situation with what Deion's doing with the recruiting and how the recruitment is going, or kind of the cracks in the dam have occurred. What's your thoughts on that? You said you wanted to get to that. We own it. Go with it.
Oh, that's what's up. For me, man, I really wanted to kind of focus on, the importance as well as the top like 150 recruits. Because there's a lot to be said about how the HBCUs really been taken on. Like, I'm not gonna say taken, I'm gonna say taken over. And I'm gonna highlight Prime, because Coach Prime at Jackson State is making a splash. So in my mind, where I think a lot of people is really making a mistake, and I'm gonna say that, is making a mistake trying to figure out ways to get black coaches in the NFL. I think HBCUs is where some of these big name like coaches need to go, like Prime did, because Deion Sanders was trying to get in the NFL. He interviewed for a couple positions, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, he interviewed for a couple positions like as coordinators and all that, and didn't get them. And then it was like, I'm going to go where I know I'm going to be appreciated. And he ended up at Jackson State.
Right.
So it's like, looking at that, I really think our black coaches should be going to these HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? They should be going to these some of these smaller schools like in college, and pulling recruits from these perennial like old standing programs like Alabama, like Texas A&M, right. You know what I'm saying, like Georgia, like Penn State, and make the same waves as Jackson State been making. You know what I'm saying? So like, we look at let's just focus on the top 10 from the top 50 recruits, or the top 150 recruits. Jackson State got the number 1 player in the country by position, by state, by national ranking, everything. Travis Hunter as a cornerback, 6'1", 165, and is a monster on the football field. Academically, what I've read is he's also academically a really good student. So he gives a different definition, or gives a new or renewed sense of the academic athlete, academic All-American. Right. Like Myron Rolle did for everybody. God bless him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out new neurosurgeon, all of that. He's making moves, doing a lot of big things. Travis Hunter is really expected to make it to the league. He's going to do what he needs to do as long as he keeps his head together and shines at Jackson State. But you look at the rest of the teams in the top 10, it's the same old. A&M, Georgia, USC, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's sad that Alabama don't have nobody just because I'm an Alabama fan. But still, I mean, from an HBCU perspective, to get the number one player in the country, and he's not the only one. You know what I'm saying? Like there's also somebody else that's in the top 100. Kevin Coleman, he's a number 53 ranked player coming out of high school, and he's got Jackson State on his list as his top like school that he wants to go to, but he's not fully committed yet. But he's expected to sign, and he a wide receiver, 5'11", 170, and is like lightning. He's the number 6 player at the wide receiver position coming out of the 150, but easily based on the rankings, and if he would have went to something else like a different recruiting session or something, he could be top 5.
Right.
But in his state, he's the number 1 receiver. Nationally, he's ranked number 53. The boy can play, and he's going to Jackson State. So it's like, I mean, they're making waves, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's all attributed to Deion Sanders. People want to play for prime. They want to play for a Hall of Famer. So looking at how some of these black coaches who are Hall of Famers, who can really coach, are just sitting on the sideline as coordinators or assistant coaches, you know what I'm saying, but really could be making waves with our HBCUs. And when I say our, I mean America's HBCUs. Right. I think there's missed opportunities there. I think some of these kids have different connections and ties to some of these Hall of Fame players that they could really take advantage of it to bring up the financial impact that a sport like football brings to these schools. So I really wanted to kind of highlight that and talk about that a little bit, because, you know, when I played in high school, I really wanted to play at Grambling State. Okay. And I ended up not going because I was talked out of it. You know what I'm saying? It was all about how their facilities wasn't up to par, their opportunities wasn't there. I mean, like, it was a lot of, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to say BS centered around what could or couldn't have happened, you know what I'm saying, from the perspective of opportunities. But one thing that don't happen a lot is talking about the graduation rate. You know, how often one of, and I can't remember the number. They was talking about it the other day on a podcast that I was listening to, and I can't remember the name. But they were talking about how our HBCUs graduate more black doctors and lawyers than any of these other top colleges. And it's like they're not just saying that. I mean, it's proven. Some of the top lawyers and doctors in the country that are African Americans or minorities come from HBCUs. I mean, Spelman has one of the best graduation rates in the country. You know what I'm saying? So it's like really looking at that and taking advantage of it and I think is a missed opportunity for some of our black coaches, because, and I have to say it, they're chasing the money. I mean, the money that the NBA and the NFL can offer to coaches is by far more than what any other like level of sports can offer. I get that, but I've always been taught that it's about legacy. It shouldn't really be about the money. It should be about the legacy that you can leave and the impact that you can have on our communities, you know what I'm saying? And not just black communities, our communities, period, like American communities. I think it's something that really, I think, is a missed opportunity with HBCUs and some of these black coaches.
I feel you on that. I agree 100% with you. Quick question. Are you aware that Eddie George and Hugh Douglas are coaches in the HBCU now?
Yes. Okay. I know about Hugh Douglas. I didn't know about Eddie George.
Yeah, Eddie George is, I forget where he's at, but he's at one as well now. Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, now that those three are there, you know, there's all kind of speculation and rumors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And especially with the guy, the enemy in KC, they refused to hire him.
Oh wow.
I'm talking about the NFL owners. We in the hiring season right now.
Right.
He ain't got a job. It's so bad. It's so bad. that Andy Reid just the other day came on TV talking about, hey y'all do know Eric Bieniemy is the one that's calling all of our Kansas City's plays. Y'all do know that, right?
Wow.
Ain't nobody ever had to say that before.
Right.
Trying to help him actually get a job. When you got white coaches that's special teams coaches.
Right.
Getting jobs. Head coaching jobs.
Right.
This dude been sitting here for years doing it. Still can't get a job. So
right.
I agree with you 100%. I say, every named black ex-player that has real good coaching experience and ability, hurry up. Sign up with all the big HBCU, and let's blow the HBCU up. Because we're going to get the players. The players are going to come. All they got to do is come there. The coaches think the players are going to come. That's just the reality. That's an advantage that we as black people or them as black coaches will always have. So I'm like, what are we waiting for?
Right.
Why? Let's pick it up. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Especially with coaches like Bieniemy that they refuse to hire him. It's been 4, 5, 6 years he's been waiting on due for his head coaching opportunity. Hasn't come. In an interview to death, hasn't come. That's been something that's been talked about here recently. It's like, what does he have to do? He's the offensive coordinator at one of the top offenses, if not the top offense in the league for the last 4, 5 years since Mahomes been there. Nothing. So here's what it is. I agree with you. The more coaches need to come on and hook up with the HBCUs. Snatch all the top recruits, change the playing field, change the game.
Right.
And the cameras are gonna come, the money's gonna come. You may not get that X many $1 million a contract today as the coach.
But it's coming.
3 to 5 years, it's coming.
It's coming. Just like they said, Cincinnati will never play for a BCS or NCAA playoff game, which comes with a ton of money. Look what happened. Cincinnati's there. Oregon is there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They position themselves, which again I think is you got to break some stuff down. You got to break a situation down to build something bigger, which is what Deion Sanders is doing, which is what Hugh Jackson and other folks are doing. Ultimately, what's going to happen, which is sad to say this, but ultimately what's going to happen is some of these HBCUs are going to get invites to the Power 5 conferences.
Right.
They're going to get the invite to be at the table at these big conferences. I think it'd be a mistake for them to accept them, but one thing that you have to do is you have to start somewhere. So there's going to be an HBCU that will be put in a position to be in like the Pac-10 or something like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be in the Big East or the ACC or
right.
something like that, because they're going to see the inevitable impact financially and sports-wise that some of these HBCUs can offer. And it's going to become a feeder program. So as they continue to expand upon these Power 5 conferences, I really think that the HBCUs are going to be broken down. So their normal HBCU conferences are going to dissolve. Some of those HBCUs programs are going to disappear, but it's going to be a long time before something like that happens. I think we are really at the you know what I'm saying, the chrysalis stage of, you know, the HBCUs doing something that they should have done a long time ago. Because to be honest, without Prime and these other folks taking a chance on some of these smaller programs because Prime not making not a ton of money.
Right.
Being a coach at Jackson State. I mean, he's not. I mean, what he's doing is he's basically making waves with his popularity,
Right.
with his stardom. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's making waves, and his son is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he is athletic as all get out. The boy got an eye for the field. I think what the NFL gonna do to him is a travesty. I think they're gonna turn him into a receiver.
That's what they usually do.
That's what they usually do. I think they're gonna turn him into a receiver. But I think if he chose to stay at the quarterback position, he could play it and play it at a high level in the league. But unfortunately, I think what they're gonna do is they really gonna isolate him because of his athleticism. And if he does stay at quarterback, he's gonna be at quarterback for a short period of time, and his career gonna be short. So that's the thing they really gonna put him in a box in. And if you really want to have a long time career, you need to make the transition to a receiver.
Right. Now here's the thing. I love what you said a little earlier when you were talking about that the conferences being invited to some of the bigger conferences right now.
Mm-hmm.
How that would be a mistake. I agree with you 1,000%. And to me, that's what has to happen with the HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
And who's running them. Don't buy in to the money draw initially from these other larger conferences.
Right.
Because all they got to do is keep locking in top black coaches, getting the top black players, and guess what? Within a few years, the HBCU conferences are one of the power conferences.
Absolutely.
That has to be the plan. Because you can't let them dilute you as you go. Don't do that. Don't go for the quick money. Build it up. The only way, in my opinion, to sustain power in your conference is don't allow yourself to be picked from. Keep it all to yourself. Keep it all in your normal conferences and rock like that. So then you got Alabama versus Jackson State, or Tennessee versus this, or Penn State, or it will get to a point where it's an equal battle.
Right. And money, unfortunately, and I'm gonna say this unfortunately, money is the ultimate equalizer. Because what happens is these other Power 5 conferences and the schools that make them up, and the top schools in those Power 5 conferences have a ton of money being dumped into their programs. The athletic equipment, you know what I'm saying, the athletic facilities, the trainers, the science and technology behind, you know what I'm saying, improving the bigger, stronger, faster, stuff like that. So it's hard for HBCUs to compete with that because they don't get all the extra booster funds and all the extra sponsorships and everything else. And Jackson State is really starting to show and prove that that's how you do it. Jackson State unfortunately lost a conference game this year, or the championship, but I mean it puts them in a position where you see when you put money into a program, there are a lot of great things that can happen. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be about the love of the game, unfortunately. I'm gonna say unfortunately. Because you need the money to go into your facilities and the technology and the training and everything. To compete with these bigger programs, you need the opportunities for your family and some of your recruits' families to be able to thrive while these kids are away from them. Because like we talk about, and I'm gonna add another dynamic to it, we talk about players getting paid. I mean, that's something to be said about that as well, because these Power 5 conferences and the top schools in those conferences have the ability to pay players stipend money to cover expenses through, legal means to cover certain expenses with scholarships and other things of that nature that HBCUs just don't have the pool of funds to do. So I think adding in and adding exposure from some of these Hall of Fame players, but it's got to come with wins. Let's be honest. you gotta win. You can't just go into a program as a Hall of Famer or an expected coach and not win. I mean, you got to win because winning brings in money. Losing does not. Losing makes the leaders and folks look up elsewhere. And I think that's what Prime has shown us, that not just bring your fame with you, but bring, you know, the winning mentality with you. Because he's changed the Jackson State program from, I'm going to say, a mediocre program to a winning program. And a lot of people migrate to that.
Right. The only pushback I have on what you were just talking about is you talking about the money issue. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The money issue is really big. It's really pivotal. But like say with Jackson State, for example, if not, somewhere in the next 2 to 3 years, at its current pace, I believe Jackson State will have a amount of funding and money coming into its program where it will be able to compete with the Power 5 teams. It's also
I agree. As long as the NFL or a Power 5 team don't try and poach Prime.
Of course.
If he stays there and has longevity, and when I say longevity, he stays there another 5 to 7 years.
Right. Oh, easy.
He gonna be in a conversation just like Cincinnati was. Right. You know, just like Louisiana was. I mean, some of these smaller schools are going to be able to compete in the top 25 because they gonna change their schedule. Right. Inevitably, what Prime gonna have to do is he gonna have to start scheduling some of these non-conference games as the bigger schools in order to get the top rankings. And he gonna do that. And once he do that, he gonna start to be able to size up his team and what they need, which is gonna be a good thing. Because you look at schools like Wake Forest and all of them. I mean, they normally basketball type schools. North Carolina, North Carolina is getting some top recruits, but that comes with winning. I mean, the more you win, I mean, like schools like Missouri are starting to get top recruits. So the more you win, you know what I'm saying, you start to pull some of these kids because some of these kids are in their backyard. Right. You know, like for example, the number 3 player in the country, Luther Burden. Man, that boy, he stays in East St. Louis. And he probably the only means that his family got to eat. So he don't want to leave his family. He don't want to go to no Alabama or no Florida or no Miami and nothing like that. He wants to stay home. So when you have a top school in your backyard, why not? Because you get to still hang out with your family, you get to hang out with your friends, and you still get to play and highlight yourself to where you have a chance to make it to the league. Why not? So it's like that. That's the situation that I think a lot of the ghetto hood kids that are making up some of these Power 5 conference teams are missing, because they like, man, if I go play for, you know, Louisiana Tech or you know, one of these smaller schools, Grambling or something like that, I don't have the exposure that's needed for me to make it to the NFL, to make my family, you know what I'm saying, not have to live the struggle no more. Right. You know, so like Deion Sanders' model, like you said, if he stays for a while and he starts to pull in more sponsorship and they start to put more money into the programs and stuff, oh, absolutely. I definitely think in within 5 years, as long as Prime stays, because I think that's the issue with some of these coaching jobs opening in the NFL, and the media is starting to push the idea that black coaches need to be more in the NFL. When Prime's son is drafted, I think he may get in a situation where either he wants to watch his son play, so he don't want to coach no more, or he goes to the league to a team that potentially could draft his son, so that way he can make sure he continues to play quarterback.
That's possible.
So, I mean, I think there's variables there that could derail what we're talking about and what's happening to HBCUs, but I hope not. I hope Prime stays and drives home the idea that you could make an HBCU, you can make any school successful if you bring in enough funds and enough change of culture where you bring in the winning mentality. Because I think that's one of the ultimate things that Prime brought in was he's a winner. He's not a loser. So he never goes into a game trying not to lose. Every game that Prime goes into, when he played and now as he coaches, he goes in with the expectation to win. Yep. And that's not easy for coaches nowadays. Some coaches go in with the mindset like the punk ass Steelers, saying, "Oh, well, we can't beat them. We gonna lose."
Where my thing at? Where my doohickey? Where my power tool at? See, that what that is, y'all. That ain't nothing but natural hate. That's hate from the soul. You know what I'm saying? It just, that's what it is. You know, but like I said, watch your back. In the moment, watch your back. That's all I'm saying. But I agree with you. Like I said, if he stays, like I said, I don't think it will be, but a few more years they could actually compete with the top power schools, so-called power schools in college, and they will be on their way. The whole HBCU pack of schools, not just one. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of speculators, and that's what they do, speculate.
Right.
People trying to pick, prune, or get prime to leave now.
Right.
Them talks have already started.
Right. And me personally, I don't think Prime is ready for the NFL. I think he's got some maturity to do. He's got some growing to do, and I hope he does that at Jackson State. Mm-hmm. I hope he waits until he gets Jackson State in the top 25 in the country. Right. Whether he goes to the college football playoffs or not. If Jackson State goes into the top 25 at 25, that is a huge win for him as a coach and HBCUs across the country.
Absolutely.
I mean, because they get no respect right now, which is sad, because I would be willing to bet that some of the HBCUs can outplay some of the Power 5 bottom like 5 teams.
Yeah.
Right now, without having like the fame and the money, I think they can outplay them.
Yes.
They just never had the opportunity.
So, actually, and I'd say, like I said, that was what I was getting at, is in regards to the money. Once they got enough money, they don't have to have the same money, but once they got enough money, I think they can start knocking off some of these big Power 5 schools and winning some of these bowl games, all that, and once that starts happening, all you do is sustain it. You're off and running. So we'll see what happens. And we kind of already touched on the last topic for the show, and that was, the issue with the black coaches. We've been hitting on that all throughout the whole conversation. There's a reason why, Tomlin is still standing at Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is trash. I mean,
I think that's true though. I mean, when you think about coaches that have an opportunity to ride that wave, not just get praised and get to stay when they're successful, but even when they have opportunities or situations where they got players who via injury or they leave, and they have an opportunity where they got to build back up. There's not really another team in the league outside of Pittsburgh that does that. Like, give your coach an opportunity to succeed as well as fail, but then build back up. Coaches in the league now, especially black coaches, are expected to win and win now and forever.
1 year. All you get is 1 year.
All you get is 1 to 2 years, and if you don't win, it's it. And it's like, but then you get other programs that when they have white coaches, they give them 3 to 4 seasons before they say, "Oh yeah, no, it's time to go." And I feel like that's a losing model. I mean, even look at the Packers. The Packers don't have the same type of mantra when it comes to coaches, but we do have a longer term mantra.
Right.
Like, we gonna give a coach 8 to 10 years. You don't continue with our winning like history.
Right. Without doing that.
Without bringing in all these veterans and everything else over an 8 to 10 year period, Oh, then it's a wrap. Oh, it's a wrap then. After about 8.5, 9 years, you on that hot seat. You make it to 10 years, you had a successful career, but it's a wrap. Right. You got to win at least one Super Bowl in order to get that long, but you still going to have longevity. They going to let you go through your trial and tribulation. There ain't another team in the league that's going to do that.
Right.
If you ain't winning and winning now, and the sad thing is you get teams out there who have coaches who have winning seasons, making the playoffs, but because they ain't winning the Super Bowl after about season 3 or 4, they fire them.
Right.
And it's like, how do you expect that to be a winning model?
It's not, unfortunately. All they care about is money. And I get that part, because it is a business, but you get the most money when you win it. That's just the bottom line. So it's crazy what's going on with the coaches right now. Hopefully some more coaches get brought in, but I'm not holding my breath. And a lot of the coaches that are not getting those opportunities, I hope they move on to the HBCUs and build their programs there.
Yeah, I agree.
And in the meantime, and see what happens from there, because that's really the only other option they have.
I agree. I mean, I think don't get me wrong. I think there's something to be said about the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator position. That is a successful position. Like, you can win and have a thriving career as an offensive or defensive coordinator in the league. And some coaches, Romeo Cornell, are only good being a coordinator.
Right.
When you have to focus on the entire team,
it's different.
It's different. When you can just focus on one aspect of the team, you can thrive as well. So I don't want to minimize the idea that there is a lot of really successful offensive or defensive coordinator black coaches in the league.
Right.
And sometimes that's the peak position for them. But there definitely are some black coaches that can thrive and be successful as head coaches. And I want to highlight, and I can't remember dude's name, the coach for he was here in Indy, successful largely, and then went to Detroit because he got fired here. Is a good coach.
Talking about OG?
Yeah,
coach?
I can't remember.
Won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay?
I think so.
I can't think of his name either. That's messed up. I can't think of people's name. Dungy.
No, not Dungy.
Not Dungy? Oh, okay.
No, Dungy did win the Super Bowl, but what's dude's name? Jim Caldwell.
Caldwell, yes.
Yeah, okay. Caldwell had a winning record at Detroit, 64-36. Got rid of it because, as they say, he had one of the best teams in the league with Stafford and couldn't win playoffs. But he's the last time they won a playoff game. Right. Last time coaching in Detroit was 2017. But they've not won a playoff game since, and every coach that they've had, for the most part, since then has had losing records. I mean, Matt Patricia, when he didn't have really a losing record, but he just couldn't win. Like, he didn't even make the playoffs. So it's like just thinking about that, and like now they got Dan Campbell, who really ain't winning nothing either. so it's like really just looking at that. I mean, I think Jim Caldwell was a good coach, and really should have still should have a head coaching job. Right.
It's a bunch of.
Right, because even when he was with the Colts, he did a good job. I mean, but it's another one, man. He's a coordinator. Like he's an offensive coordinator that has a really good offensive mind. But what they struggle with the idea of is that they don't give him time to develop his team. They don't give him time to develop his position players into his system, which sucks for him because like right now, I mean, he's an assistant head coach and a quarterbacks coach with Miami, but how long is that gonna last? I mean, is he actually still there? I mean, like you got to give him an opportunity that's going to set him up for success. And again, I mean, he only had 3 years in Detroit, but even those 3 years in Detroit, he was winning.
Right.
but they got rid of him. Just don't make sense. He had 3 seasons in Indy. He was winning, but they got rid of him.
Right.
So
that's what they do. The only other little addition to the black coaches thing, I did hear a couple of speculators speculating today about Leftwich being hired by Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if that's true, that would be a great hire to work with that new quarterback they got there.
It'd be a great hire, but I give him 3 years.
Yeah. Unless all of a sudden they start winning. Yeah, unless they start winning.
Even if he starts winning, Jacksonville ain't never gonna win no Super Bowl.
That's how they was doing. Man, Jacksonville, just a couple years ago, Jacksonville was a monster.
Man, Jacksonville ain't never been no monster.
Man, they was giving us and Brady the business just about 3-4 years ago. Didn't nobody want to see them. But anyway.
And they missed the playoffs.
No, this was in the playoffs. I think they beat us.
No, sir.
Hey, man, I had to look up my stats, man. Jacksonville was beating people because they was running all over us. I was crying that game. I mean, I was feeling bad that game. And, like, what the hell, where'd they come from? But it was just about 3 or 4 years ago.
Man, Jacksonville has always been the bottom feeders in the AFC.
Because they had your boy, the running back that Tampa Bay has now.
Man, that's why he left.
I know, but they had a year, at least 1 year, where they was fire with Fournette. Yes, they did. I'm telling you, they was putting it on everybody.
They was 10-6 in 2017.
Is that what the year? Was that what it was?
That was the year.
Did they make playoffs? Like I said. And I think they won the playoff game. But anyway, I could be wrong, y'all.
They made the playoffs because they won the division.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And then they got bounced first round.
Man. Again, I told you I got short-term memory
Man,
problems.
it was a wild card game. They got bounced.
I got short-term memory problems, ladies and gentlemen. Short-term memory problems.
But to your point though, they won.
They was good. Yeah.
They won 10 games. They was 6-2 at home and 4-4 away.
Right. All right. So we're gonna get out of here on this last little nugget. And I'm gonna tell you off the top, you wrong. You way wrong. And that's it. That's just what it is. You actually let it fall out your mouth a little earlier. I heard you say somebody that ain't the GOAT is the GOAT in the NBA. But who's your GOAT? Go ahead and say it again, and I'm gonna straighten you out.
Kobe is the GOAT.
Man, you smoke.
Man, who's the GOAT if Kobe ain't the GOAT?
The only 2 GOAT options in the NBA, period. Get your book, get your pencil, get your paper, and your pad.
Man, here you go.
There's only 2 options.
These old dudes who play
here we go.
Who played against plumbers.
Here we go.
And cable men who didn't have no life.
Here we go. 2 options. Jordan's 1 option. Or Wilt. That's it. Wilt.
Man,
that's it.
How you gonna leave Kareem?
That's it. Them the only 2 options for greatest of all time, man.
How you gonna leave
everybody
Kareem
else
and
is
Bill Russell out the conversation?
Bump everybody else out. Ain't nobody do what these 2 dudes did. Period.
Man, you can't leave Kareem and Bill out.
Wilt can get out. Is Wilt dead? Wilt can get out the grave right now if he's dead and beat most of the NBA right now.
Man, Wilt wouldn't know what to do with the NBA right now.
They wouldn't know what to do with him, man. You need to do some research on Wilt, young peoples.
Wilt'll be standing underneath the rim, wondering why Steph Curry
thought. That's what you thought. He would stand underneath the rim, do all that, and then beat you down the other side of the court and throw that trash you trying to put up. Man, do some Wilt research. Wilt was killing grown men at 16, 17 years old.
Man,
there's reports, there's footage.
And Bill Russell would foul out in the first 5 minutes of the game in the league today.
Even Shaq says Wilt was better than him and should be it should be considered as the GOAT.
Man,
Shaq
crazy.
said that.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to tell you. I think he said that. I'll put it that way. Allegedly. I don't know. I might be crazy, but I think I heard him say that.
That's crazy talk.
I'm telling you, man, Wilt was a you think right now, all we got is like Shaq, Kareem references, a few other little people to mention that were bomb. But trust me, do your Wilt research, y'all. Get to know homeboy.
And with the marvels of technology, you can actually watch some of the basketball games.
That's what I'm saying.
On YouTube.
That's why I did my research. Do your research,
that
man.
old lanky motherfucker played against all them plumbers and them lawyers and police and firemen.
Some of them plumbers is in the Hall of Fame too. And he balled on all of them. Killed all of them. Smashed everybody.
He ain't win no chips.
Man, I said great, the GOAT. I said the GOAT. We ain't talking about who got the most championships or who got the most rings. I said the GOAT. So, man, like I said, from jump,
Bill Russell would kill Wilt.
Like I said,
Kareem would kill Wilt.
Bill Russell played with Wilt. The only reason why Bill Russell won the chips was because they had a better team. We're talking about individual GOAT players.
Here we go.
Individual
now
GOAT
we
players.
Coming with all these extra.
Ain't no extra. Ain't no extra. That's the whole point. Ain't no extra. Wilt came with a whole crew of ballers. I mean,
he can have the best team, but he still got to be able to play and make an impact.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, like I said, you're wrong. That's just what it is. I won. Boom. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Kobe, when you shoot a shot.
Look, you can keep talking. I can just
when you throwing trash in the trash can, you still say Kobe.
Look, you can keep. No, oh, please.
Kobe.
No, don't think so. Look, like I said, you can
still
keep
missing the shot.
Kobe. You can keep spewing trash all you want. I hit the stop recording button 3 minutes ago. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, the point is, you're wrong. I won. Wilt or Jordan, them the only two options. There it is, y'all. Boom. All right, we done did it. We done did it to the fullest. Hey man, we're gonna have to have you back. Big Meats, we're gonna have to get some more people up in here because you need help. You need some treatment. You need treatment on your GOAT thing. I mean, Kobe in the top 5. I would say I would put him in the top 5, but he ain't the GOAT. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Sorry, man. Sorry, bro. No.
Here you go. He took Jordan's moves and made
whose moves did you say he took?
He took
Jordan's
moves
That's
and
my
made
point.
them even more unstoppable.
No, they just was that bad. They was just unstoppable. Period. If you could learn how to do them, he didn't make them more or nothing.
You seen his TED talk?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, like I said, I won. Wilt or Jordan is the GOAT. Miss me with all that other stuff. We're gonna go ahead and get you off here, man. Let y'all go, ladies and gentlemen. We went in. And I think we pretty much fixed everything in sports.
Every problem. I need to be somebody's GM.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So, like I said, we're gonna do this again, man. Get a couple more knuckleheads in here to hopefully get you straightened out on this GOAT thing and a couple other things. But we appreciate your time, man, for chopping it up with us here on One Brothas Mind. I'm gonna go ahead and end it like this. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. And as a part of the new black media, B1 choices are mandatory. And being on code is required. So never fear, Yeshua the Christ is with you always. Shalom.